life is all just the same. For the old man on Patrick Street, he's walking the streets day and night, his hands all wrinkled and his hair is snow white. A champion fighter one time in his life, but nobody cares about old boxing fights. He's the old man on Patrick Street, and darkness falls, no one hears him call, but the moon and the stars of the night. Tonight he sleeps alone. How can we do this to our own? Sweet Jesus, won't you look down tonight? He had a rough life from the start. When his wife left him, torn apart, but he found a new lover, keeps him warm in the dark. She's Nancy Whiskey, he keeps her close to his heart. He's the old man on Patrick Street. I saw him last weekend, man, he got old, worn out clothes, his story untold, asleep on a bench out in the cold. Nancy beside him, the woman in gold. He's the old man on Patrick Street, and darkness falls, no one hears him call, but the moon and the stars of the night. Tonight he sleeps alone. How can we do this to our own? Sweet Jesus, won't you hear him tonight? Passed by today by that old man's bed, an empty whiskey bottle lay there instead. Someone left flowers and a note that read, a short message remembering the dead. For the old man on Patrick Street, for the old man on Patrick Street. There in the rain, all the lines on his face showing his pain. Nothing to live for and nothing to gain. Every day in his life is all just the same. For the old man on Patrick Street, he's walking the streets day and night, his hands all wrinkled and his hair is snow white. A champion fighter one time in his life, but nobody cares about old boxing fights. He's the old man on Patrick Street, and darkness falls, no one hears him call, but the moon and the stars of the night. Tonight he sleeps alone. How can we do this?
Good evening everybody, welcome back to the Virtual Irish Pub. Tonight's another very special night. I've got some of my pals dropping by. It's going to be loads of fun tonight. We're going to launch the Old Man on Patrick Street. But before that, I wanted to start like I normally would start on the Wednesday and Saturday nights with a couple of songs. And I've had some requests. So the first one I got was for a song called The Bear and the Bible, written by my great friend Liam Riley from Bagatelle. And Liam gave me this song. There's a great story behind this. We had broken a Guinness World Record in Las Vegas with our pals, the Black Donnellys. And myself and Liam were celebrating, having a coffee. And he said to me, you should do my song, The Bear and the Bible. And I said, I don't know much about it, what is it? And he explained to me it's about the Irish guys, an immigrant going away looking for work and quickly realising that it's not all it was cracked up to be and he wishes he was at home. So he told me it was particularly about the Irish lads away in Cricklewood who would be sent out of their lodgings in the morning and not allowed back in until 10 at night. And if they weren't picked for the job, they hung out in the pub or the church. So I thought I'd do that tonight as a way of saying thank you for Liam Riley, to Liam Riley for a great shout out he gave me during the week. On the day he arrived, with the light in his eyes, he'd said all his farewells and all his goodbyes, and he knew he'd find work. He was good with his hands, and the money was good here in this foreign land. On the first night he met with a few big hard men, with his hand in his pocket again and again. I'll replace it tomorrow, and all will be right. And they put down the hard stuff well into the night. And he's walking all day, looking for leads, as the light in the tunnel slowly recedes. And it's back to the pub and the old rosary beads, back to the beer and the Bible. In the cold light of day, in the concrete and steel, his sense of security started to reel, and realization, it was worse than he thought, pours over his head like cold tea from a pot. And he knows them by heart, the signs and the cheers. No men want to bugger off, no vacancies here, but there's plenty of work if you're first in the line, and there isn't 1,000 before you. And he's walking all day, looking for leads, as the light in the tunnel slowly recedes. And it's back to the pub and the old rosary beads, back to the beer and the Bible. So he lowers his sights, I'll do anything at all, to hell with the trowel and the straight narrow wall. Sure, a heart wouldn't hurt for a month, maybe more. Will you give me a job? Get rosy on the whore. And he's walking all day, looking for leads, as the light in the tunnel slowly recedes. And it's back to the pub and the old rosary beads, back to the beer and the Bible. It's a long time since he heard the waves on the shore, near the place where he came from, a long time before. So he drinks and he prays and he can't understand, but they don't want his skills here in this foreign land. And he's walking all day, looking for leads, as the light in the tunnel slowly recedes. And it's back to the pub and the old rosary beads, back to the beer and the Bible. Oh, he's walking all day, looking for leads, as the light in the tunnel slowly recedes. And it's back to the pub and the old rosary beads, back to the beer and the Bible, back to the beer and the Bible. He's gone back to the beer and the Bible. Thank you. That's one of Liam Riley's great songs. I think I'll do another one while I'm waiting for my my host to arrive. Another person who gave me a huge shout out yesterday and today was the mighty Pete St. John. And I'm hoping he'll be on with us tonight. He messaged me today and he called me the other day and said he was going to be with us. And for the last couple of weeks I've been inundated with requests for his song The Mero, which was written about Mary Street and the cinema there in Dublin. So there's a lot of things mentioned in this song. Pete is great for writing social stories. So he mentions characters like Bang Bang. We had a Bang Bang too in Cork, the street characters who used to have a golden key that he'd shoot the buses with. And he's mentioned, and Alfie Byrne is mentioned, who was Lord Mayor in Dublin twice, I believe. And you've got the mention of my Primo, which was your primary cert before you went, when you left primary school. The first verse I always mentioned because it was the kids, the children's game on the street with the skipping rope. And they used to sing, somebody under the bed, whoever can it be? I feel so very nervous, I call for Joni. Joni lights the candle, there's nobody there. Hey, hi, diddly, and out goes she. And then the next kid would jump in. So that's what that's about. So I thought I'd give this a go for all the people who've been asking for it. Somebody under the bed, whoever can it be? I feel so very nervous, I call for Joni. Joni lights the candle, there's nobody there. Hey, hi, diddly, and out goes she. Skipping ropes still turning, children at their play. In and out through Clarendon Street, in and out to pray. I haven't prayed for 20 years, I sang a happy song. Since praying went with innocence and the devil played along. And we all went up to the Mero, hey there, who's your man? It's only Johnny Fartycoat, sure he's a desperate man. Bang bang shoots the buses with his golden key. Hey hi, diddly eye, and out goes she. My father was a stater, my mother loved a tan. She loved her Hafner sausages and her soldier fancy man. Nolly's up in Jacobs and Mary's on the town. And I joined the transport union and they said me nose was brown. And we all went up to the Mero, hey there, who's your man? It's Alfie Bernard walking, sure he's a decent man. Bang bang shoots the buses with his golden key. Hey hi, diddly eye, and out goes she. I've a tanner for the Mero, me gone for money's head. If Mary's in the family way, she can blame the Cisco kid. I'll be langers in the morning, me langers need a patch. Ah Jesus, there's Con Martin, I hope you win the match. Me uncle had a wolfhound that never had to pay. But a hairy lemon snatched it down on Eden Quay. Now I have me Primo and me scapulars are blue for helping the black babies and Dolly Fawcett too. And we all went up to the Mero, hey there, who's your man? It's Brendan being out walking, sure he's the ginger man. Bang bang shoots the buses with his golden key. Hey hi, diddly eye, and out goes she. It's true that Dublin's changing since the pillar was blown down by the winds of violence and a boogering up the town. We used to solve a difference with a digging match in a jar, but now they're all playing bang bang, that's going too bloody far. And we all go up to the Mero, hey there, who's your man? It's only me guardian angel, get a large one for your man. There's no use bloody rushing, for now it's the holy hour. A plenary indulgence and another baby power. The Mero, written by the mighty Pete St. John. Now, I do want to thank District 11 for having me back here, and we're going to be joined by a couple of special guests, but tonight's host has just joined me. Would you please welcome my great friend, Ken Perrott.
How you doing?
I'm all right.
Good.
Don't forget now, Ken, it's a family show, all right?
No better boy. Come here, you must be delighted with the... I was looking at some of the comments during the week. First of all, I suppose, no, let's come back and let's talk about last Wednesday. You must have been thrilled with how that went and the support that you got.
Absolutely. It's been pouring in and I'm really excited all week.
Just for anybody that's looking now and wasn't looking on Wednesday night, Roy, PJ Coogan was the host, Pat Fitz, Olympian Rob Heffernan, Mike Hanrahan from Stockton's Wing, Phil Coulter, Mick Hutchinson, or Uncle Mick as you like to call him, and the Black Donnellys all checked in. Everyone's loving the song. But what a great night it was. I watched some of it on Wednesday night and I came back when I had more time and was able to turn it up and watch the whole thing on Thursday.
That was a great, but the time flew. It was over 3 hours, but it didn't feel like that. It's great seeing so many of my pals joining in and giving me all the support and stuff, but it's also very nice to see their faces because I haven't seen them since the lockdown started.
I was thinking the other night, even when I was looking at some of the comments you've been getting during the week, I was thinking of your mum and dad, because every time we go, the song collector sessions that you've been doing for the last couple of years, if PJ Coogan isn't hosting and I'm hosting it with it,
right.
but always your mum and dad are there. They're big followers of the music. They must be proud as punch, looking at the big names.
All my family, but my mum and dad would come along to a lot of the gigs and I'd pick them up and they'd come along all the time. Yeah, but a lot of the family, even my sister Joanne was the first one to put me forward for a singing competition and things. You know, the family have always been there, and even my extended family, they're all singers and songwriters and everything. So yeah, it's always been around our family.
Christmas Day in the Buckley house in the front, I'd say, is it?
Yeah, we used to always have these amazing sessions up in my Aunt Kay's house every Christmas night. It used to be amazing. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is coming back to the likes of Phil Coulter, giving you his endorsement on your track.
Brilliant,
that stuff money can't buy. That's pedigree, saying you're giving you just a hand up and saying you're the next level.
I'm blown away because, look, I've no problem saying I'm still a fan of those guys, even though we've become buddies and everything. I'm still a fan of them. I was always a fan, even growing up. They're like, you know, guys you look up to and admire. And Phil and Mikey and Liam Riley and everyone who's been coming in and giving me their support is really nice. So yeah, I'm blown away by the whole lot.
It's been absolute, and it's only the beginning of it, really, because you've a lot more stuff written, ready to go down the line.
Big time, yeah. Well, I was speaking about this with PJ. We kind of got into the story of the young man on Patrick Street last Wednesday, and it's been a long time coming with everything that happened. You know, our pal Lawrence White passing away and the studio closing, and then Aidan and Keith bringing me up to Kitten Lane to finish up there and things. So between the jigs and the reels, it was about 6 years of, you know, of course we stopped for a little while when Lawrence passed and the studio went, but it's been a while coming, and you know, it's very exciting and everything, just also a bit of relief that it finally got to the finish line, you know, so it's been a mixed emotions this week, I have to say.
But most of them good emotions. Number 2 in the chart. I loved it when you said last Wednesday night, you said, up till now I never gave a damn about the charts. That wasn't for me. Suddenly I find myself at number 2 in the charts. And
I care about the charts.
But hey, well done. I mean, I think everybody's got nothing but words of support, words of encouragement.
It's really nice.
It is.
I watched back some of the video last week and I was laughing at some of the things, especially Black Donnellys. They're mad.
Did you read much of the comments? Some of the stuff is some people in Cork can be funny.
Well, you see, this is the thing with the virtual Irish pub gig. Since Paddy's night when I did it first, it's like a meeting place now, and we've a lot of what I'm calling the virtual Irish, the VIP regulars who are coming in. It's people now have built up a friendship with people they've never seen or met before, and they're all tuning in every week, and everyone's getting to know each other, and it's brilliant, and it's spreading, and we're in so many different countries now. It's unbelievable. So do you know what I love? I love when Irish people abroad in Australia and America and everywhere are tagging their family, or they're using the gig as a meeting place for them all to catch up, and some of the comments are very funny. But sure, the Irish are great crack.
You hit me on something I wanted to mention actually. If you are watching us online, why not give us a mention, give us a comment now. Let us know where you're watching. If that's Douglas or Donnybrook, we don't care. But if it's further afield, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah,
let us know
we've got Big Bernard taking down the comments, and we want to give it. Where is he? Say hello, Bernard. Hi.
I'll sneak in now and again.
He's taking down all the comments, and so give him loads of work to do. Tell him exactly where. Write down your whole street address.
I nearly know where now at this stage.
Give it to him.
We have got to get to Kilkenny because Darren Holden from the High Kings is standing by, and I know Darren has got. I think he's got an immediate thing in the States fairly soon.
Right,
so we just got to cut straight across. Darren is waiting in the green room for us.
I must put on my earplugs. He's got an interview, I think, in the States, so we better get him on quick. Darren, before he comes on, I tell him, the High Kings are brilliant and they're all great players and everything, but Darren's career goes back further. I had himself and Paul O'Brien on the Sound Collector podcast recently, and another story about Darren. He auditioned for moving out to Billy Joel on Broadway. Auditioned, and Billy Joel, he went out the back, closed the door behind him, the door opened again, and he turned around and it was Billy Joel saying, "You have the job if you want to." How cool is that? We went to see Billy Joel.
Just going to say, how many years ago was that?
Anyway, that's only one story. This guy has got lots going on. Let's see if I can get him on screen straight away. We got him. Okay.
How's it going, guys?
There he is. Hi, Darren.
How are you?
How's it going, man? Nice to see your face.
And you too. And I'm looking at that lovely pint of Guinness. How's it going, lads? Are you well?
How's this for you, Darren?
Oh, stop it, will you? You're killing me. 2 more days.
Hey Darren, just while Roy is enjoying that, he was telling us just before you came on about that story with Billy Joel. Can you put that in your own words? Because I've heard this over a few pints many times, and I'd love to hear it in your own words.
Oh, well, it was probably the only time in my life and my career that I was in the right place at the right time. And it was purely by chance I got asked to audition for Moving Out, which was on Broadway. It had literally just started. And the directors and the producers wanted somebody to come in and learn the show in Broadway and take over when they needed to give the other guy, the lead guy, a break. And they wanted somebody to front the national tour in America. So I kind of went to the audition thinking that, I don't really have much chance because it's America and there's got to be hundreds, if not thousands, of people who can do the job and do it 100 times better than I would. But lo and behold, I went to the audition. I was the last one they saw out of something like 370 odd. And I didn't know Billy was at the audition, which was a good thing. So I think I played snippets of maybe about 10 Billy songs with Billy's band. Producers, directors were there. He was sitting there with baseball hat at the back, trying to hide and successfully hiding. Anyway, I thought I did okay. Didn't think much of it, and I thanked everybody. Left the audition, and as I was leaving the studios in New York, I heard somebody coming down the hallway behind me, and it was Billy. And he said, "Look, that was great. Do you want the job?" And yeah, usually when that happens, you kind of usually you wake up when these things happen. You know what I mean? But it was just unreal, and of course on the spot I said, "Yeah."
The poor High Kings must be, under fair stress because I heard a Slash and Spandau Ballet are chasing you as well. Is that true?
I've always found myself in these predicaments, and it always comes from being in that show in Moving Out. There were so many session players who worked with different various bands, and they'd always put me forward for things without me even realizing it half the time. And I'd suddenly get these calls and emails from people, and I'd be going, "How the hell do you get my number or my email?" But I'd never say no to any opportunity. That's part of the business, as you know yourself, Roy. You just go for anything, and you never know where it's going to lead to. But you're flying it. That your new song is absolutely amazing. I've been telling people about it all week. It's absolutely phenomenal, and I'm delighted with your success. As I was saying to you there in the charts and everything, it's a beautiful number and very poignant.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. Tell me, I see the last time I spoke to you on the podcast, you were telling me the High Kings had an awful lot coming up in America, but for the first time, well, maybe not the first time, but you were going back to Asia, or you're doing Asia for the first time.
Yeah. Is it? Well, Japan is in. It's we've moved, as you can guess, we've moved so many dates. I was meant to be in America right now, actually, for the next 6 weeks, but obviously we had to move all of that back to next year, which makes next year look very, very busy, all going well, of course. But some of the only dates we have left in this year are Germany, Holland, and our first time as a band going to Japan. Wow. Which is very, very exciting. We've already met the promoter and the PR people, and they're really up for it. They're really into bringing the band over there for the first time. And I was there in 2006, with moving out, and I loved it. I fell in love with the place, and they're real music people. You know, they know all their stuff, and you know they're real genuine. Like they're really into the Irish music, particularly as well. You know, so it's just a wonderful opportunity. So hopefully, please God, all that goes ahead. I mean,
it's going to be some crack singing the Rocky Road to Dublin in Japanese, though, isn't it?
We'll have to change. We'll have to change the words. Yeah, listen. God knows if it'll happen, as I said, but hopefully, fingers crossed, everything is back on track, and we keep watching these territories that we're meant to be playing in, and hoping that they'll all go ahead. But sure, how's ever, you know.
Good luck with it all. I know you've got a media obligation now. You have an interview in the US or something. So
I do.
I won't keep you too long more.
No, it's great. Absolutely. Yeah, no, I have to do a little thing.
Even though my interview was way more important, I leave it more.
Well, listen, man, I just want to say to you that I'm delighted for your success. And one thing I will say is what I like about you, Roy, is you've always stayed true to yourself. You never try to be anybody else. And in this genre of music, yeah, you know, you'd be forgiven. No, it's just like you're when you listen to you know exactly who it is. You're not trying to sound like anybody else, you know, and that's really a good thing. And that's why it's all happening for you now, because you've stayed true to yourself all down through the years. And this song is just the starting point of major things to happen for you. And I'm just glad to know you and glad to be able to say that you're a buddy.
Likewise, my friend.
Yeah, like it's magic to see what you're doing.
It means a lot. I mean, look, you're obviously very successful and everything, and you're a great guy. You're always been a gentleman. So I thank you for saying that. And I hope when all the madness is all over, I'll catch you for a beer somewhere. And
absolutely. I look forward to it. And don't choke on your Guinness now, whatever you do, all right?
I won't. Darren Holden, thank you very much for the second.
Listen, lads, all the best, Roy. Take care, guys.
Thank you, Darren.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Take care, pal. Bye-bye.
Just as we leave Darren go, that's a great point you made. If you staying true to yourself, there must have always been the easy road to go up there and sing lots of pop songs and, you know, make money singing Frankie Valli and that kind of follow the cash stream, because the road you've taken isn't as paved with gold as other roads might be.
You know, Ken, like I just have a huge love for Irish music and folk music from Ireland and of course beyond. But I appreciate all music, you know, especially great songwriters that aren't necessarily folk writers. But if I had to pick one genre that I would live with for the rest of my life, it would be Irish folk songs, you know.
No, really? We were doing the song collectors in the South County a couple of years ago. Phil Coulter was on it that night, and I was introducing you, and I said that you were like an encyclopedia of Irish music, and you will bore the pants off anybody who will stand around long enough and listen to you about Irish music. It's still the same.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm still gathering stuff. I don't know everything about every song. I think there's about 3. I know, really. I suppose I'm a bit of a sponge when it comes to folk songs. I love knowing the stories. I love knowing who wrote them or why or where they wrote them or whatever. I love links to it because I think when I sing them, I can kind of manifest that and
but I think it makes it. You've educated me in many ways when it comes to Irish music.
And that was a tough job.
With stuff like, I'm going to name the song Grace, you know, I love it. And to me, it was just another song, and press play and I hear it. And oh yeah, great. Then when you told me the story behind it, it just a song like that takes on a whole new meaning. Yeah. When you hear the backstory for it, and it just becomes something totally different.
Especially because it's a true story.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's amazing.
But even if it's not a true story, I think if you can get into the mind of the songwriter and say what they were thinking.
Well, it's even better. Look, I've been privileged to tour with and be around and work with the likes of Pete St. John and Phil Coulter and Liam Riley and so many others, you know, who like have did it all and they're so talented and stuff that every time I come away, I'm after picking something up, you know. And that's on a huge high level, you know. There's also guys, you know, like all levels. If you listen, that's why you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. If you listen, you'll pick up something, you know. And I tend to do that a lot. I tend to try and pick up as much as I can about a song so that when I'm performing it, I can try and give it more.
And you do that at your gigs. I'm a regular, as we all know, I'm a regular at a lot of your gigs as often as I can get there. Yeah. And you'll talk as much as you'll sing, and you'll pass it on without overdoing it, which is
I think that's how it survives, because other fellas did it for me. Like when I was 14, 15 and guys would bring me to trad sessions, I'd try and pick up the songs. I love the songs. I love the tunes too, but the songs I was always drawn to. I love the stories. And when fellas would give me that info, I feel I have a duty to maybe pass it on as well. That's how it survives, you know.
Right, let's bring in another guest. Let's call in, let's pan a small bit to the left and bring in another stalwart of Cork, live music and no stranger to a song collector session either. Hank Waddell.
Hello, Ken.
How you doing, Hank?
That's Roy Buckley, isn't it? That's right. Hello, folks.
Oh, yeah, Hank.
Congratulations, Roy. Congratulations.
Thank
Well
you so
done.
much.
I
It's
can
great to
remember hearing the old man on Patrick Street. It's been around a little while, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, it's been
And
written about 8 or 10 years ago.
Yeah, I can remember you when I first heard you play it as well.
Yeah, you were always a supporter of it.
Indeed.
You know,
We've shown
in
a lot.
fairness, this guy has always been a supporter of songwriting. Hank Waddell, around Cork especially, because we're based, I don't mind saying it publicly, you've always been there fighting the corner for the next generation coming through. And if the older generation needed something, you're there with them as well. You've been a hard grafter and very much a part of the Irish music scene for years, like.
I guess so, yeah.
You know.
Well, it's wonderful to be based in Cork, but like Roy, this is about what you're doing, and I have to say, I can remember the first time I saw you. It was at the Crane Lane.
Crane Lane?
It was at the Crane Lane. It's the first time I remember seeing you, because you were singing these ballads, and someone came up to me and said, "That's Mick Hutch's. That's Mick Hutch's nephew." And I remember it was the end of the night. It was about maybe 10 to 2, and there was like 3 women on the stage just singing these songs. I was like,
Ah, sure, that's nothing new.
but I was just, I forget what you were singing that particular time.
I remember it now that you said it.
There were 3, and I was
You
really-
called me up and I did the Fields of Athenry with you.
All right,
That's what we
okay,
did. Yeah.
okay, and yeah, they're in the Crane Lane. No, but I was at your gig.
No, it was your gig. You were playing the Crane and you called me up.
It was at 8. No, it was. Let's call the whole thing off. Anyway, dinner at 8. But that's what I remember. And the thing I think since then, since I saw you, between playing in different venues around Cork, like the Welcome, and playing in places like where else have we played? Name a few other venues.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. The songs mean something to you, and the songs are like living things, and they come to life with the way that you do them, the way you approach them. Like, I'm astounded at the amount of songs that you know, and the way, like, you just made a joke there with Darren about the Rocky Road to Dublin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like, you know that, like, that's not an easy song to do. You know, you could do it, maybe do it, you know, but you got that song down, and it's not the easiest song to do. And the thing about Irish ballads are, it's a tradition that goes back a long, long time. As Ken was saying there, it's not the pop song. It's these songs that have stories, and they were the only means of communication once upon a time.
Yeah.
Now it's everything. It's the internet, it's phones, it's
Absolutely, yeah.
whatever they've got these days, satellites and all that. But once upon a time, songs did that job, and you've reached back to that tradition and brought it here into 2020.
It's funny you should say things. I got a huge plug yesterday from Finbar Fury. So I was on the phone with Finbar yesterday, and he was telling me, Finbar's, you're saying about me being an encyclopedia. Finbar is just amazed so much. Like yesterday, he started telling me about, we got chatting about the Coolin being one of the oldest pieces of music in the world, and it's Celtic and it's ours, like what you were saying.
Yeah.
And he started telling me a story about a tune called Connerys. And he told me that the Connerys were a fearsome tribe. And he said that when Robert the Bruce came from France, he stopped in Galway, the Connerys got him to the north, and that's how he crossed to Scotland, and the same on the way back. And he said that this tune was only played when a high chieftain died.
Right.
So like that was obviously pretty important back in those days. And anything Finbar says, I believe him. So
Who told Finbar that?
well, his dad was Ted Fury, and
Right. And who told Ted Fury that? And how far back do you go with that? That's the connection.
That's the thing. But like to talk about Ted Fury, he used to like write the music and join the dots and stuff so that the next generation would have it. And Finbar would tell you about when he was going to school and he'd be stepping over famous pipers like Ennis and stuff who'd all be asleep in the parlour of the house. We're just gonna like these kind of things. You can't buy that at all. I mean that comes from, you know, like they're legends. They're all studied by musicians and students now, you know. So yeah, you know. Anyway, that just to your point about how far it goes back, and it's, you know, it's very much part of our culture, and I feel like maybe I should try and contribute to that, you know, and keep it going.
So, well, keep your writing up as well.
Yeah, I was a late comer with the writing. I was really in my 20s before I started scribbling anything, you know. Will we do a song?
Okay, what song will we
Speaking
do?
of songwriting, well, you have a great song called The Green and the Grey,
The Green and the Grey.
if we can remember that.
I think we can. Sure.
But
Did you tell me you wrote that when you were in New York?
I wrote that while I was in New York City in the late 80s.
About what?
About
sister?
being away from Ireland. I had a little sister and I didn't know how long I was going to be away. And
What does the green and the grey mean to you?
it means Ireland.
Okay.
In fact, our friend John Callahan took a picture.
Tex.
John took a picture recently and he showed it to me, the green and the grey, he said. He thought of the song because he saw, it was one of those days in Ireland where it was just green and grey in the countryside.
That's what I thought as well, but it'd be something like visually.
Yeah, the richness of the colours.
Okay. Let me give it a go for the viewers.
Okay, here we go.
Wanna go then?
1, 2, 3, 4.
actually.
It's good to see you.
I love doing it.
We have to dedicate that to Tom Clark in New York if he's there.
I hope he's watching. I sent the song to Tom during the week. Incredible guitar player in New York. So
His show's like yours on a Sunday night. There's you on a Saturday night, and then he does a show
what is he?
on a Sunday night. Yeah.
I caught one or two of them, but I didn't realise it was regular on a
Yeah,
weekday.
he's been doing it because
Tom Clark, go and check out Tom's stuff. He's phenomenal.
he's got a
great
thing,
stories.
the Treehouse in New York. Have you ever been to the Treehouse?
I haven't played New York lots of times, but I've never been down in Tom's place. I was going to try and get down there this time, but I had to come home over
He
there.
loves that song, as you know.
Yeah. Actually, when we played it in John O'Callaghan's house years ago,
He loves telling the
recorded
story
it.
about, so that you viewers will know this, Tom loves telling the story about being, I think it was Ellie O'Keefe's launch in Glanmire.
That's right.
And
That's right.
we were having a few relaxing bevies after the show in some hotel room or some hotel lobby. And Tom kept asking you to play this song, and you'd play this song. And play the one about the guy that got killed. And you play about the one who ran away and married a leprechaun or something.
I remember
And
Tom was saying to me one time at a gig with you, do one of those sad songs where everybody dies.
Yeah, he loves that. He loves that. And it'd be like, he's like you with Americana, I mean, I consider myself lucky to know people like him and you to know about all these songs, I mean...
Hey, slouch yourself. I mean, you've got a million songs. Your session, for any of the viewers, there's a bar in Cork, a great music bar called Charlie's, that Hank and Ray Barron have been playing every Monday for 125 years, is it?
Hundreds of thousands of years.
How long is
Well,
it? 20?
since 1994.
Wow.
It took a pandemic.
But I've seen you there and you do everything, like rock, folk. I've seen you do Jewish music. I've seen you doing blues. I've seen you doing everything.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like what are you looking for? Yeah, we got you, and you just do it.
Yeah,
It's
well,
brilliant.
it's been very. We've been lucky that Magella has put up with us, and the
Do you
staff.
remember the
and
Christmas
Charlie's.
one we used to do?
We did a couple of Christmas mornings. I remember that. Yeah.
We used to do a gig on Christmas, not Christmas morning, they
Well,
call it up to
maybe
Christmas.
the Charlie's early morning Christmas party.
And we used to start at 8 or 9,
Around 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, in Charlie's. We used to love
It's
it.
an early house. I don't know if any of the viewers remember the early houses.
It used to be great fun though.
Will there be social distancing in the new early houses, I wonder?
I don't know. Let's not go there. Oh, do you know what you might do for me and the viewers? You're an incredible songwriter, as I mentioned earlier. But you wrote a beautiful song some years ago called Listen. And
Yes.
Christy Moore picked up on it.
He did.
And Christy recorded it. And furthermore, he called the album after your song.
It was a great honor.
Yeah,
Great honor,
Christy
yeah.
puts his own stamp on everything. He's a legend. But would you mind giving us a blast of it?
Sure, I'd love to.
But tell us
Okay.
about it. You wrote it somewhere out far.
I wrote it.
You were snowed in or something.
I was in Scandinavia at the very top of Sweden inside the Arctic Circle.
Wow.
And things are very, very quiet up there. I went up there for St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick has done a lot for Irish musicians.
Yes.
So they flew me up there from Stockholm, and I was up there for the weekend. And it was very lonely in one way, and it was good to be alone in another way. It was completely covered in snow and ice. And they get about 3 months of the year where it melts, and it's the greatest fishing in the world up there.
Oh, yeah?
Apparently. Yeah, people come from all over the world to go fishing up there because it's just teeming with fish for like 3 months of the year.
Anyway, give us a blast to listen. I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, the town was Yalavera inside the Arctic Circle. It was a mining town. Hitler wanted to get up there to take the mines, but he didn't get there. Listen to the whisper of moonlight on the water. Close your eyes and listen. Listen to the singing of a feather on the breeze. Close your eyes and listen. Listen. Listen to the harmony of heartbeats in unison. Close your eyes and listen. Listen to the dancing round the stars. Close your eyes and listen. 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 Listen to the chiming of the distant bell calling. Listen to the flutter of an angel's wings on high. Listen to the rapping and the clapping and the buzzing. Listen to the snowfall gently on the mining town. Close your eyes and listen. Close your eyes and listen. Listen to the whisper, moonlight on the water. Listen to the singing of a feather on the breeze. Listen to the prayers of children to their blessed mother. Listen to the pleading of the faithful to their Father.
Just on a round of applause, lads. You know?
Thank you very much, thank you.
Great song. And how did Kirsty Moore come by it?
Well, we have a guitar player in common. I'm good friends with Declan Sinnott.
Legend.
And he's good friends with Declan Sinnott.
Legend.
They go back a long way, Moving Hearts, and you know.
That's right. I had the
Declan
pleasure
producing and.
I was down at Ballycotton last year. The pleasure opening up for Declan and Vicky.
All right. They did a show last night.
Did they?
They did, yeah.
And hung out with him afterwards for a little while, and yeah, just amazing, gifted player, you know.
Yeah.
And Vicky's a fine singer too, in fairness, you know. So,
Yeah, they do a nice show together.
yeah,
They certainly
and they're
do.
brilliant. He's one of the best we ever had too, you know. Are you okay?
Right, let me come in for just a minute. First of all, for anyone who's just tuned in, you've just been listening to Hank Waddell. We're here with Roy Buckley at Roy Buckley's virtual Irish pub being hosted tonight, and our thanks to all the gang here at District 11. You can get the new song, The Old Man, on Patrick Street on all streaming platforms. It's currently sitting at number 2 on the charts. We're hoping tonight we'll give it another big push. If you haven't listened to it, downloaded it, shared it on social media, please take this opportunity to do so now. Let me bring in our next guest. No stranger to Cork City fans, but for those of you looking around the world, if you've lived anywhere near the footballing world, well, you should hopefully know our next guest. George O'Callaghan from Cork City FC, also played some time in the UK and in Asia as well, George.
Thank
Welcome.
you, Ken. I'm
Welcome.
shocked you have to look at your sheets to know that.
No, I look at my sheets to make sure I didn't mess it up.
I said, Ken, make sure you look down and hurt his ego.
No, thank you.
Yeah,
no.
Georgie.
Do you know what I feel like? I've been like spending the last 3 months with my earphones every Saturday night, sitting watching with my family, watching X Factor, watching you, and my wife's like,
I don't want to do it all. Get your family
I'm like,
off
no, I'm
X
watching
Factor
Roy.
and onto that.
So I feel like I'm on the judge, sitting next to the judges. Like, a bit exciting tonight. Like, it's brilliant. It's been amazing to be here.
It's nice to see you, buddy.
Yeah,
I've
no.
seen you for a long time.
I suppose, like for me, with you, with the Irish music and how we became friends, I think like I left home really young when I was 15, and you always try to keep that, like I'll say Cork identity, but you keep the Irish identity, you know. And we live in digs, and the Irish lads, we'd be living in digs, and we listen to the wolf tones and all that kind of stuff. So you kind of get used to listening to that and going to games and kind of building ourselves up. But like when I came back to Cork, it was a novelty to see people like you playing, and because we didn't have that in the UK, you know what I mean? And it was really special. And I think one of the first times I see you, and then I became a big fan of yours, even though you were only starting out and getting me in trouble.
Yeah, I was going to say that. He used to get me into higher trouble.
Yeah,
as well.
jeez, yeah. He used to actually drop me off the training. I would go watching and go right, and he tried to drop me home. He'd go, "Alright, Georgie, come on, come back to my house there. We'll have a drink in my house before we go." Like, and then it'd be like 8 o'clock alarm on. I'd be like, "I seriously need to go to training now, kid." Like, because I was drop me off.
That's a lie, I know that never.
But no, but that sense, you know, the identity of like being Irish and living in the UK.
And did you find that, like when you were, because anytime I travelled away, I'm sure Hank would see, well, Hank was born in America, but I find when I travel and I meet Irish people, they seem like some people would say, I never really had much interest in ballads, or I knew them, but since I moved away, now I'm really into it, because like they're more Irish when they're away or something. Did you find that when you were away?
Yeah, no, 100%. And then when it comes in and like you kind of like, as I said, you're trying to find your identity and the music, and you're listening to Christy Moore, and you're listening to the Wolf Tones, and listening to the Fury Birds, all this kind of stuff. But like if we take, like, even now, Roy, if you look at it, like regarding like the Irish international players that contact you, like John Egan is.
Oh yeah, John gave me a shout out.
John gave me a shout out to Twitter the other day. Like, that was amazing. Paul McShane.
Oh yeah, Mac was a good guy.
But let's get it from the start, right? I made you.
I remember.
I'll tell you the story. You'll have a different story, but I'll tell you my story.
Okay, you go first.
I was following you around Cork, so it was those days you didn't have Instagram, you didn't have Facebook.
Yeah,
you basically text, right, where are you playing, kid? And right, kid, I'm in the welcome, or I'm here, or that. And all the Cork City lads, we all loved you, we all used to go watch you and go see you play. So I wanted Roy to be in my, to play in my wedding.
Yeah.
So I said, oh, listen, rang Roy and said, Roy, any chance you can, like,
Too expensive.
do my wedding, right? He goes, oh, kid, like, not really into weddings, you know, like I'm more of a serious, like, artist, like, I do this and that, you know?
I said, George, I'm going to your wedding, I'll have the stuff in the
I'd
car.
like to hear what George has to say.
Yeah, my story.
Go on, okay.
So anyway,
Okay.
I goes, I know, kid, but I goes, to be brilliant, like, I goes, I want you at my wedding. I goes, no matter what happens, you're playing at my wedding. And he goes, right, kid, because we were so close, weren't we?
Go on.
And so anyway, we did a deal. He goes, right, I'm going to do, like, at the start of the wedding, I'll play, and then I can go on the lash with you, George, for the rest of the night. And I was like, perfect, kid. And so then, like, great, he was amazing, he was unbelievable. And now all of a sudden I see him doing all, like, weddings for all, like, the international players and all these new football friends.
I think you told me that it's Dominic Leach is getting the credit for that.
Dominic is the boy who pulled me in. He's in with us later on, but Dominic was the guy who started all that. And
Roy Buckley live in Ibiza. That's the chapter in the book on its own.
Ken, do you know the way I look at it now? It's like,
that happened. Like.
Pete Tong, Judge Jules and Roy Buckley.
It all went Pete Tong, that's what I can tell you.
the way I look at it now
Hang on a sec about the wedding thing now. I got a retard here, lads. I remember, so I was after, like, lucky enough, through Dominic and all that, we got friendly with a lot of the Irish lads, and so we were at playing their weddings and things, and I remember, I think it was Robbie Brady's wedding. I checked my phone and I texted George Cannon, and it just said, always remember, kid, my wedding was the first one you played.
yeah, I'm very jealous, like. And do you know the way it is now? I know we're all friends here. It's like somebody going out with your sister.
Oh, it is. It's very much.
Do you know what I mean? That's how you betrayed me.
That would be terrible.
Who's going out with your sister, George?
I don't know.
There's somebody jacking their sister is down. I'd hate if my friend was going out with my sister.
Yeah, I know, it's awful.
I would. Would you?
Because you need all the friends you
Would
can
you?
get.
Would you hear something?
But I have to say though, man, anytime I meet you and the moment I met you, you've always been the same. And like, I followed your career from the start, really. I was there from the start. And there was many nights I used to always walk into, what's that pub down by Canty's there, around that area.
The ovens?
Not the ovens, one across the way.
Coonamans?
The bigger one.
The Plunkett?
The Alan Plunkett. Yeah, and I was not supposed to be out because I had a game the night before, and I would walk in and he'd kick in with Jocks Augusta Stuttgart and have my name in the middle, and I'm sitting down the back of the pub going, oh, Jesus, Roy, like, please, not tonight, like, I'm not supposed to be out.
That's all the fun though, you gotta do that, you know.
But I do think you're amazing, Pat, and,
thanks. But like,
and you never changed.
I mean, I remember at your wedding and Dolan, your manager,
Pat Dolan
stood up and gave a lovely speech and stuff, and he said you were called King Georgie for a reason. And that's true, you was the lord of the game, you know. I thought you were only alright, but the rest of the boys. So,
But Roy, I think, like, with soccer players and, like, musicians, like, and the way I look at soccer, I think soccer's gone to a stage where everyone's kind of like, they're like, it's like a computer game where they're all put in places. But I always looked at, like, playing matches, the crowd is there and it's there to entertain. And that's the way I used to play my football, like the way you entertain people and people love your songs. And I think that's really important in any kind of environment you're in or any kind of business you're working in.
Yeah.
And that's why, and I always wanted to be a rock and roll star. Unfortunately, I can't play no music, no guitar, I can't sing. But it was my only chance to be a rock and roll star, you know what I mean? So I can impress the fans and do what you do.
I can tell you who'd be more of a rock star around this city than a lot of...
I'm just going to let you know, I heard him sing Johnny Logan a couple of weeks ago, and I think he did, he did a great version of Johnny Logan just a few weeks ago. Listen, I'm going to pause you for 1 second. I'm going to look over here to the camera and remind everyone looking, we are here for the official launch of The Old Man on Patrick Street, available on all your music platforms and available to download on iTunes. Bernard, have we any requests coming in? I think you'd like to do take another bit of music.
Funnily enough, they all know Roy's going to play The Old Man on Patrick Street, so they're trying to get something else in instead, right? Because they know he'll play that one. So.
If for anybody waiting for The Old Man on Patrick Street, we will be taking a break very shortly. We'll maybe come up towards the break. We'll have a quick chat about the Old Man on Patrick Street into the song. We'll do something else first.
So yeah, what we had, we had Eamon O'Brien requested Beeswing. Then, immediately after that, we had a request for Devil Rose from Katrina Darcy, Marika, Beth Miles, M. McGee. So
All the regulars.
lots of ones for Devil Rose. Paddy O'Donoghue was looking for the Contender. James O'Callaghan was looking for Gold and Silver Days. And Joanne, Michelle Dowling and Tony Ann all look for Dark Rosaline. And I suppose...
Well, I tell you what, now, I did Beeswing and Dark Rosaline on Wednesday night gone, so maybe I'll do them next at the gig during the week next week.
And Mary McWilliams was looking for the Dutchman.
Oh, they're all good ones. Devil Rose is a song of my own. The Dutchman was
Devil Rose.
Michael Peter Smith. Jerry Jeff Walker did a great job on that as well. So the Brendan Grace and Liam Clancy, of course. Okay, will I do... what have you got there? So pick one of the ones I didn't do the other night.
I think Devil Rose, right? Because you have a lot of people that haven't heard that before, and as you said, it's one of your own.
Right, okay.
That's one of the ones I request when I go and see Up in Murphy's Rock.
Yeah, everyone seems to like it. The vibe was kind of like piano bar, speakeasy type job, you know.
I'm sorry, because you don't play piano.
That's what you think.
Dave Brown just texted in, Pancho and Lefty go to see no more.
I'll be in and was it on the paper course to D minor as well. You'll be fine. Thank you, well, Evan. So, yeah, I'm planning on releasing this one maybe before the year is out as well, and Dark Rosaline, but I'll happily do it. A lot of people seem to like this song, so when I write sometimes I like to create characters, and this one I gave her a name and she's called Devil Rose. Maybe we get Georgie singing on this as well.
She's not about Duncan Street when she chose a night, Oliver.
No, it's a different one. I've seen the burning fires in your eyes. I have never known a woman that never cries. Your heart is black as night, your serpent tongue tells lies. But I have seen your devil soul beneath your pretty disguise. Fall at your feet when you go walking by. The forbidden fruit is the one we all want to try. Temptation can lead a man to wreck or die. The devil rolls his ways, a man can not deny. I can't help but wonder, have you any remorse? So cynical, every move you planned, your charted course. You've taken all I could give and you took it with force. Devil rose, devil rose, devil rose. The devil rose will take a man for all that he's got. Every man is helpless to the devil's plot. Her body, her eyes, her face, her lips, all so hot. The devil rose takes men's souls and she'll never stop. I've seen the burning fires in your eyes, and I have never known a woman that never cries. Your heart is black as night, your serpent tongue tells lies. But I have seen your devil soul in your pretty disguise. Devil rose, devil rose, devil rose. And then I gave him free in the deep end there, like great stuff.
Roy, come back to me for a second, because
Yeah, sorry, Ken.
it's been more than from the beginning. Well, not from the beginning. It started as you playing the pubs and doing the gigs, but then you've expanded from just Roy Buckley, pub musician, to Roy Buckley Music, which has included podcasts. Just for anyone listening and who hasn't downloaded, go to Roy Buckley Music wherever you get your podcast searches. Tell me some of the names that have joined you on the podcasts.
Well, first of all, the podcast, I find them very interesting because of my love for folk music and stuff. But what it is a platform to promote Irish artists. It's not strictly Irish, but predominantly Irish. So yeah, I would sit down and PJ Coogan would sit in on a lot of them too. And we'd interview some of the Irish greats about their life and music. So we've had Phil Coulter, Christy Dignam, Sean McGuinness from the Dublin City Ramblers.
Albert Hammond.
We didn't sit down with Albert.
Didn't you?
No, we were supposed to and we never got around to it. Who else has been in on that? Mikey Hanrahan from Stockton's Ring, the High Kings, Hank, actually. Hank did the longest one ever.
We talked and talked.
You know, Aidan is laughing over there because Aidan was doing sound on that when we were cleaning it up. And we were going to cut it back to the hour. And Aidan said, do you know what? There's so much information about the Cork music scene. And do you remember you said that? Yeah. And there was so much about like going back from Hank's time in the 20s. And I know, but going back to the 80s and the 90s all through, Hank gave a really great insight. So we decided it would be there for anyone who ever was trying to find out about the Cork music scene in the archives.
The thing about that thing is before you even asked me, I heard a couple of them. I thought
You were one of the first on to me about it. Yeah.
I think when we're all gone, right? We're not here anymore, and those things they'll be an invaluable resource for people to listen to what Phil Coulter had to say, to listen to what Mike Hanrahan had to say.
Yeah.
Like you really did.
Well, it's great sitting there. Like you gave a great insight. So did Finn Baffiori. Like I mean, just the knowledge that all you guys have and the wealth of knowledge musically and just historically and culturally and stuff. It all comes out over the space of the conversation, and that, I find it fascinating. I, as you know, like talk the leg off a table about folk songs. So when the greats who did it or written them and stuff come out.
So then when the podcast was, let's say, in production and it became its own thing and that was going to keep, that ball was going to keep rolling, then you went away and you started your own YouTube channel. Some of the requests came in for Beeswing. That was a great version. Again, something you did with the guys in the studio up in Barrack Street, wasn't it?
Yeah, Aiden's place, Kitten Lane.
So again, the YouTube channel, just to put down a track, tell a bit of the story, and that's, again, as Hank just said, that's there for anyone at any time.
There's only a couple of videos there at the moment because we got held up with all this going on, but there's more to come. What that project is, again, it's a spin-off from the Song Collector sessions, but I just think that these songs are so important to us as it's part of our heritage and our culture and all that, that I wanted to archive them. All the songs from Ireland and beyond. Like Beeswing is written by Richard Thompson, of course. I Love the Ground She Walked Upon is up there. It's the only song ever that Phil Coulter and Ralph McTell collaborated on. And I asked Phil one time, you love this, I said, Phil, how did that come about, yourself and Ralph McTell writing it? And he said, oh, we just wanted to write a hit for Jim McCann. We just wanted to give him a hit.
That's great.
So we wrote it, you know. Beautiful song, and Jim McCann nailed it, and he did have a hit with it. So I just, you know, I find it fascinating, you know.
Was it Jim McCann who had the first hit with Grace? No.
Yeah, it was written by Frank and Sean O'Mara, and they gave it to Jim. They also gave Meet Me at the Pillar to him as well. And they offered him My Last Farewell, I think, but Barleycorn ended up doing it. And Roisin, there's another song of theirs that Barleycorn did as well. But yeah.
I used to play with Phil Coulter's son at Dundalk.
Ryan, is it?
Yeah.
He's out in America now.
Yeah, he's flying.
Actually, I was chatting to Phil about
lovely
you
fella. Like,
Yeah.
great guy. Remember when he was a kid, like, and I was supposed to be the senior guy. He's like, telling him all how it was done. But I didn't work out that way anyway.
I didn't want to say it.
But anyway.
I was only chatting to Phil about you the other day because I
okay.
was on the phone and I told him you were coming in, and he said that to me that you used to play ball with Ryan up in Dundalk. I met Ryan a few months ago at Phil's book launch.
Yeah.
And very nice guy.
My mum loves Phil Coulter, and while I was there, I said to Ryan, and goes, oh, geez, like, my mum loves, like, your dad, like, you know, because I didn't actually know the connection for weeks. And
Phil's married now, you know that, right?
Yeah, but sure, my mum doesn't care. Ken knows her anyway. Ken will be in trouble tomorrow. Anyway, but
Why will he be in trouble tomorrow?
Oh no, because they've been having Sunday dinner. I don't get invited anymore.
Will he be in your house for Sunday dinner?
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
Yeah, I got moved out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I was there anyway. I'm gonna get killed over this. They're gonna kill me. Right. So yeah, but I was like that. Like I was trying to look after him and kind of show him the way. But like, listen, I'm not great at like being a role model. But
putting a mile in.
Yeah. So Ryan came one day and he goes, "Oh, what's your mum and dad's address?" Or like, I'd say my dad, no kid. But Phil sent a load of stuff to like my mum, like all signed and everything. And then my mum met him at the Opera House. Only like about 8 or 9 months ago. Like, and he was like, "Oh, thank you for sending me that stuff." And George is my son. And he was like, "I'm really sorry about that." I was like, "Thanks, Phil. Like, you could have picked me up." Like,
now Phil is a character.
Yeah, I love him.
Actually, he wasn't he chairman of Derry City for a while?
Yeah.
He was. Phil's a big soccer fan.
But man, he's an absolutely amazing bloke. Like, and you know, as you say, like when somebody that's behind you and picking you up, man, it's amazing. You know, because
absolutely
his songs are off the Richter scale.
Yeah, they truly are.
Nearly as good as yours, like.
Whatever about his, I think just his songwriting ability, even just from if you just pigeonhole the Eurovision stuff, just that alone, the ability to do the stuff like that, and to have him go, yeah, and considering that's a song you wrote, Old Man of Patrick Street. When did you say you wrote it first?
Oh, it must have been about 8 or 10 years ago, I'd say, at this stage.
Imagine what you've learned from then to now.
Yeah, absolutely.
To have him say that your early stuff is great, and here you are with 10 years more experience. But still, have you changed it in those 10 years? Have you changed any little word or any tweaks to it?
No.
No? Not even when you got into the studio?
No, I haven't. The only thing we might have changed really was Keith Clancy had the great idea of bringing in that lovely string section on it. So we got Tom Crowley in, he arranged the strings, That was an addition which was really nice. I loved that. And actually, Tom is great around the city. He records a lot of people. Did you tell me he recorded something onto you?
He did strings for 2 of my songs on the album.
Yeah.
Living in the Land of
We're
the
very lucky in Cork to have so many Cork-based anyway session musicians and songwriters and everything. We really are in a very healthy music situation at the moment. There's a lot of great guys, you know, around.
Great guys and great gals.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I do know
you
what
know
you
what I
mean.
mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just mentioned Keith. Let's take that opportunity as well to give a quick mention to the guys in production: Keith Clancy, Aidan O'Mahony, and Sean Scott Beard on sound. They're always and a great job on Wednesday as well. In fairness, right. The reason we're here, for anybody again who's just joining us on Roy Buckley Music, is for the launch of The Old Man on Patrick Street, now available to download or to stream on all your music platforms. We'll do it in just a second, Roy. You gave a big insight on Wednesday, so I don't want to kind of repeat what you did, but it is the reason we're here, so we need to come back to it. And I heard you being interviewed by one of the lads from the Black Donnellys last week.
Oh yeah, I was on with Rooney on his
And you made a
Rooney
point.
tunes he called.
Yeah, great
That's
name.
brilliant.
Great name. He was asking. You were talking about you were gigging in Norway, and homelessness in Norway, wasn't it? Was it Norway? You said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just give me that story again.
Well, I was asked, I'm often asked about where did the song come from. Is it an old man? Is he a real character? He's not. It's a fictional character, but there is memories and things that inspired it. And the one I often say is about me walking on the building site on Patrick Street when it was being redone, and seeing the old man who used to come into Bishop Lucy Park and drink out of the fountain. We'd be there on a lunch break, Georgie, and this man would come in and drink. And then I was when I travelled around Holland and Norway and the States and things, I meet different people and you know, it comes up because homelessness is everywhere. But in Norway, it was minus 25 and I was outside having a cigarette freezing, and I asked, what do you do here with the homeless people? And the answer was, they kind of laughed at me really and said, we can't have homeless people here, they'd never survive, you know. So I said, so what happens to them? And they said, it's just taken care of, it's looked after, we don't have that. Like, and I was thinking, well, wouldn't it be great if every country just had that mentality of, we can't have it, we should just solve it, you know. The weather over there is causing it to be solved. Maybe if it was like that here, it would be taken out of our hands. It just says to me that it can be done if you have the right mind frame, you know.
When I was listening to your song, Roy, like I think we all know somebody that goes through that, you know, like that pain of. You know,
there's a lot of people
the
only one step
unfortunate
away from me, you know,
Yeah.
like, or you know, one real fall and that's there. Like,
Yeah.
I often say as well, people ask me about the old man on Patrick Street, and while it is fictional and stuff, I did give him a background story about being a boxer and that kind of thing, because I think there isn't a person alive or who has lived, who started out in life to end up living on a street, living rough or down on their luck or whatever label you want to call it. Like, there's nobody starts out, everybody's got a backstory, you know.
Yeah, because completely when I listened to your song, like when it came out like during the week, I could see people like in my head, their faces in my head that I thought of when I was listening to your song. You know what I mean? And I was like, whoa, that, you know, like.
Yeah, I've had messages from people in the UK and Scotland and America saying, I know that guy.
Yeah,
you know,
that's right.
to themselves,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
I know that guy. And one of the messages actually said that the guy they knew was a boxer.
Yeah.
And I said, look, it's some guy in America who obviously I never met, but it's nice to think that it's making people look at it that way.
Yeah.
That they're kind of, they're focusing in, they're picturing somebody. So maybe next time they pass somebody, they might even just throw them a few dollars or euro or whatever, you know, or do something to try and, you know, it's a social comment. I'm not trying to be the saviour here or anything. I'm just putting it out that maybe people will just shed a bit of light on it. Maybe people will just look at the situation.
Yeah, because I thought that I was like, you know, maybe I should give that fella a ring, make sure he's alright. You know, like,
Yeah,
you know, when I listen
yeah,
to the
yeah.
song, and I think that's a big thing coming from your song. And I was like, 2 or 3 people came in my head, and I was like, man, I should really ring them and see if they're alright after listening to the song. So that's why I thought it was so amazing.
Yeah, thanks, man.
And isn't it amazing that was written 9-10 years ago, and how it's still so prevalent today? And no doubt, in 9 or 10 years' time, with the economy going to go the way it's going to go,
Yeah.
this is going to be in 9 or 10 years' time. It's still going to be a fight we can't win.
Mm-hmm.
So before we take the song, get ready for the song. We're gonna go to a break straight after the song. We're going to sing out with the old man in Patrick Street. While we're on the break, we'd love you, if you haven't done it already, send us a message, let us know you're listening, let us know where you are, let us know your thoughts on the song, or indeed, Bernard is taking requests. If you'd like to hear something else, we'll be back in about 10 or 15 minutes with some more of your requests.
Okay, so I'm doing the old man on Patrick Street, yeah?
Available from all good download sites. Wallets, t-shirts, headbands.
Okay, yeah. I gotta know how familiar you are with it, but if you want.
I'll hold back and listen.
Okay. Close your eyes and listen, Dag. He's there in the sun and he's there in the rain. All the lines on his face showing his pain. Nothing to live for and nothing to gain. Every day in his life is all just the same. For the old man on Patrick Street, he's walking the streets day and night. His hands all wrinkled and his hair is snow white. A champion fighter one time in his life, but nobody cares about old boxing fights. He's the old man on Patrick Street, and darkness falls, no one hears him call, but the moon and the stars of the night. Tonight he sleeps alone. How can we do this tomorrow? Sweet Jesus, won't you look down tonight? He had a rough life from the start. When his wife left him and tore him apart, when he found a new lover, keeps him warm in the dark. She's Nancy Whiskey, he keeps her close to his heart. He's the old man on Patrick Street. I saw him last weekend, man, he got old, worn out clothes and a story untold, asleep on a bench on the cold. Nancy beside him, the woman in gold. He's the old man on Patrick Street, and darkness falls, no one hears him call, but the moon and the stars of the night. Tonight he sleeps alone. How can we do this tomorrow? Sweet Jesus, won't you hear him tonight? I passed by today by that old man's bed. An empty whiskey bottle lay there instead. Someone left flowers and a note that read a short message remembering the dead. For the old man on Patrick Street. For the old man on Patrick Street. For Lawrence. Any of the viewers, that's a special effects button to make it sound like it. I like that. Okay.
Well done, Roy.
Hey, thank you, guys.
We take a quick break?
I think so, yeah. I think we will.
Yeah, quick break and we'll be back in a few minutes.
Okay, guys, join us up.
all the lines on his face showing his pain. Nothing to live for and nothing to gain, and every day in his life is all just the same. For the old man on Patrick Street, he's walking the streets day and night, his hands all wrinkled and his hair is snow white. A champion fighter one time in his life, but nobody cares about old boxing fights. He's the old man on Patrick Street, and darkness falls, no one hears him call, but the moon and the stars of the night. Tonight he sleeps alone. How can we do this to our own? Sweet Jesus, won't you look down tonight? He had it up life from the start, when his wife left him torn apart. But he found a new lover, keeps him warm in the dark. She's Nancy Whiskey, he keeps her close to his heart. He's the old man on Patrick Street. I saw him last weekend, man, he got old, worn out clothes, his story untold, asleep on a bench out in the cold. Nancy beside him, the woman in gold. He's the old man on Patrick Street, and darkness falls, no one hears him call, for the moon and the stars of the night. Tonight he sleeps alone. How can we do this to our own? Sweet Jesus, won't you hear him tonight? Passed by today by an old man's bed, an empty whiskey bottle lay there instead. Someone left flowers and a note that read, a short message remembering the dead. For the old man on Patrick Street, for the old man on Patrick Street. All the lines on his face showing his pain. Nothing to live for and nothing to gain, and every day in his life is all just the same. For the old man on Patrick Street, he's walking the streets day and night, his hands all wrinkled and his hair is snow white. A champion fighter one time in his life, but nobody cares about old boxing fights. He's the old man on Patrick Street, and darkness falls, no one hears him call, but the moon and the stars of the night. Tonight he sleeps alone. How can we do this to our own? Sweet Jesus, won't you when his wife left him, torn apart. But he found a new lover, keeps him warm in the dark. She's Nancy Whiskey, he keeps her close to his heart. He's the old man on Patrick Street. I saw him last weekend, man, he got old, worn out clothes, his story untold, asleep on a bench out in the cold. Nancy beside him, the woman in gold. He's the old man on Patrick Street. And darkness falls, no one hears him call, for the moon and the stars of the night. Tonight he sleeps alone. How can we do this to our own? Sweet Jesus, won't you hear him tonight? Pass by today by that old man's bed, an empty whiskey bottle lay there instead. Someone left flowers and a note that read, a short message remembering the dead. For the old man on Patrick Street. For the old man on Patrick Street. There in the rain, all the lines on his face showing his pain. Nothing to live for and nothing to gain. Every day in his life is all just the same. For the old man on Patrick Street. He's walking the streets day and night, his hands all wrinkled and his hair is snow white. A champion fighter one time in his life, but nobody cares about old boxing fights. He's the old man on Patrick Street. And darkness falls, no one hears him call, but the moon and the stars of the night. Tonight he sleeps alone. How can we do this to our own? Sweet Jesus, won't you look down tonight? He had a rough life from the start, when his wife left him torn apart. But he found a new lover, keeps him warm in the dark. She's Nancy Whiskey, he keeps her close to his heart. He's the old man on Patrick Street. I saw him last weekend, man, he got old, worn out clothes, his story untold, asleep on a bench out in the cold. Nancy beside him, the woman in gold. He's the old man on Patrick Street. And darkness falls, no one hears him call, for the moon and the stars of the night. Tonight he sleeps alone. How can we do this to our own? Sweet Jesus, won't you hear instead. Someone left flowers and a note that read a short message remembering the dead. For the old man on Patrick Street. For the old man on Patrick Street. There in the rain, all the lines on his face showing his pain. Nothing to live for and nothing to gain. And every day in his life is all just the same. For the old man on Patrick Street. He's walking the streets day and night. His hands all wrinkled and his hair is snow white. A champion fighter one time in his life, but nobody cares about old boxing fights. He's the old man on Patrick Street. And darkness falls, no one hears him call, but the moon and the stars of the night. Tonight he sleeps alone. How can we do this to our own? Sweet Jesus, won't you look down tonight? He had a rough life from the start, when his wife left him torn apart. But he found a new lover, keeps him warm in the dark. She's Nancy Whiskey, he keeps her close to his heart. He's the old man on Patrick Street. I saw him last weekend, man, he got old, worn out clothes, his story untold. Asleep on a bench out in the cold, Nancy beside him, the woman in gold. He's the old man on Patrick Street. And darkness falls, no one hears him call, for the moon and the stars of the night. Tonight he sleeps alone. How can we do this to our own? Sweet Jesus, won't you hear him tonight? Passed by today by that old man's bed, an empty whiskey bottle lay there instead. Someone left flowers and a note that read a short message remembering the dead. For the old man on Patrick Street. For the old man on Patrick Street. There in the rain, all the lines on his face showing his pain. Nothing to live for and nothing to gain. And every day in his life is all just the same. For the old man on Patrick Street. He's walking the streets day and night. His hands all wrinkled and his hair is snow white. A champion fighter one time in his life, but nobody cares about old boxing fights. He's the old man on Patrick Street. and darkness falls. No one hears him call, but the moon and the stars of the night. Tonight he sleeps alone. How can we do this to our own? Sweet Jesus, won't you look down tonight? He had her up life from the start. When his wife left him, torn apart. But he found a new lover, keeps him warm in the dark. She's Nancy Whiskey, he keeps her close to his heart. He's the old man on Patrick Street. I saw him last weekend, man, he got old, worn out clothes, his story untold. Asleep on a bench out in the cold. Nancy beside him, the woman in gold. He's the old man on Patrick Street. And darkness falls. No one hears him call, but the moon and the stars of the night. Tonight he sleeps alone. How can we do this to our own? Sweet Jesus, won't you hear him tonight? Passed by today by that old man's bed. An empty whiskey bottle lay there instead. Someone left flowers and a note that read a short message remembering the dead. For the old man on Patrick Street. For the old man on Patrick Street. There in the rain, all the lines on his face showing his pain. Nothing to live for and nothing to gain. And every day in his life is all just the same. For the old man on Patrick Street. He's walking the streets day and night. His hands all wrinkled and his hair is snow white. A champion fighter one time in his life, but nobody cares about old boxing fights. He's the old man on Patrick Street. And darkness falls. No one hears him call, but the moon and the stars of the night. Tonight he sleeps alone. How can we do this to our own? Sweet Jesus, won't you look down tonight? He had her up life from the start. When his wife left him, torn apart. But he found a new lover, keeps him warm in the dark. She's Nancy Whiskey, he keeps her close to his heart. He's the old man on Patrick Street. I saw him last weekend, man, he got old, worn out clothes, his story untold. bench out in the cold. Nancy beside him, the woman in gold. He's the old man on Patrick Street. And darkness falls, no one hears him call, for the moon and the stars of the night. Tonight he sleeps alone. How can we do this to our own? Sweet Jesus, won't you hear him tonight? Pass by today by that old man's bed. An empty whiskey bottle lay there instead. Someone left flowers and a note that read a short message remembering the day.
Hello, and welcome back. I love your job too. And I love your job.
Hello and welcome back to Roy Buckley's
Mine was
virtual
better.
Irish pub, live tonight from District 11 as we launch The Old Man on Patrick Street, available from all good music platforms and downloading sites. We asked you earlier on to let us know where you were watching, where you were listening from, so let's quickly do this before I come across back to you. Hello to everyone that we got them watching from all over the world: Bristol, West Virginia, Cardiff, New Zealand, Douglas, Derry, Onslow Gardens, Fermoy, Bristol again, Milton Malbay, Canada, Australia, Las Vegas, Arkansas, and much, much more. So if you are watching, let us know where you are. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you think of The Old Man on Patrick Street. You heard us there while we were on our break. And without further ado, we've got some great support, Roy, for the song from some of your friends in the music business.
Absolutely.
And some of the very recognisable names. Liam Riley, Bagatelle, he's been a huge friend of yours. He's been one of the people who's probably done more song collector sessions than anyone except yourself, obviously.
And Mikey Hanrahan is the
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. But Mikey was here on Wednesday. Liam just lent his support by way of saying, you know, great song, buddy.
He gave me a lovely shout out. He rang me Tuesday night before the launch and wished me well and everything. Liam's an absolute hero. Yeah, he's a legend.
We were in, it was a song collector session. It was you, me, PJ Coogan, Pat Fitz, Liam Riley, and we were up in Portlaoise doing the song collector sessions. And great night, everything went fine. Great night. Afterwards, back in the hotel, maybe 4 o'clock in the morning, it was Pat Fitz, Roy Buckley, and Liam Riley, one guitar, and they were just passing it around, singing songs.
That's right.
That was one of those nights I'll never forget. It was just, you were like, I was honoured to be there. The music was just fantastic, and it was just, do you remember this song? And if Liam didn't
That's
know
what
it, someone
happened,
else would do it. And
Well, I suppose like Liam, of course, has written a lot of great songs, but he also has a huge appreciation for songwriters.
some ones in it.
That's right. I can't have a drink. But so Pat Fitz would have a lot of songs, and I'd have a couple of songs myself. So it was like, I remember that night now that you said it, because it was like when one would sing a song, it would trigger another song, and it was just going around. Yeah.
One of those nights that could have gone on forever.
It did.
What's it like, Roy, though? You know, when you like have people like that are your heroes, and like I've had that in soccer where you get to play against them,
Yeah.
and then like all of a sudden like they're your teammates or you're with them, like like
It's a strange one because, you know, you grow up looking up to these guys, or you know, you kind of use them as a way of aspiring yourself. You know, to try, they set the bar and you try and get there or whatever. You know, but for the most part, when they say things like you're not supposed to meet your idols or don't meet your idol, I'm lucky enough to have met a lot of mine and enjoyed their company and spent time on the road. And as I said earlier, they always teach me something. So I'm still a fan of their stuff. Does that make sense to you? When you,
Yeah.
you know, like you love a footballer and then just as you're playing against them or on the same team as them, it doesn't change what they've done or what they've achieved. You still look up to them for that. But now you might get the inside track on something, or you might understand a song a bit better because they explain it to you. And I understand a lot of people aren't in that position or privileged enough to be in that position. So I do see it as a blessing a lot of the time, you know.
I played in the with the Irish Legends there must be a year ago, but Ronnie Whelan and Ray Houghton were involved in it, and we played a game and the lads were like all laughing and joking before the game, and I was like, oh grand, like it's just no bother. But like I was like playing a match and I was like doing what I normally do when I was in the pitch, and next thing like Ronnie Whedon absolutely like fucked me out of it. I was like Ronnie, this is like an exhibition game, like, you know what I mean? But do you ever get that experience though? When they're like you're afraid to like, and then I was like enjoying the game, and all of a sudden I was like, oh my god, like Ronnie's absolutely bollocking me over there. Like I better like start doing what he says. But do you ever get like you're afraid to hit the wrong note or anything in front of him? Or
Absolutely, because it's essentially, if you're lucky enough to be on stage and sharing their song with them, that's already a hit and everything.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that, first of all, you do the song justice for them, but second of all, you do yourself justice. You want to represent yourself and try and, so I do a lot of research, or I try and, usually, I'm about to break this rule in a few minutes here with this song, but usually, I would never ever have lyrics in front of me. I like to try and get familiar with a song, and so I can deliver it my way before I put it out. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
You try and get inside it so you can kind of do it more justice as well.
What did Bob Dylan say? I know my song well before I start singing.
Yeah. See.
Which brings us back.
Argue with Bob.
I lived my life by Billy Joel. I was like, if I could play the guitar, do you know, he had a line at me. Like, I'm sure I could be a movie star if I could get out of this. I think in my life, if I could play the guitar, I could get out of this place.
What about all the people who were saying, I wish I could kick a ball around like Georgie?
Yeah.
I'm sure the three of them were saying the same thing.
I'll swap with Billy Joel, so that's fine.
It brings, you just mentioned your next song, and we're going to lead into this by talking about Pete St. John, another guy who's been hugely supportive long before the single release, through the song collectors. He's been very supportive of Roy Buckley, and he spotted your talent again some time back. And you were while you take us up with that, I'll fill the space. There was a great video of you and him singing on the Jeannie Johnson. I think it's the backdrop of the boat that makes it a great song, but it was a really nice video.
You see that boat again, like just about the history and stuff. It's an exact replica of the Jeannie Johnson that took, I mean, 17 trips bringing Irish people to the New World. And as you know, there were coffin ships and things because people died on board. The Jeannie Johnson never lost a life on board when it was doing that. So to be singing The Fields of Athenry on board with the man who wrote it. I know Kevin Glacken, the great fiddle player, was there with us, and Brian Furlong, the furrier, was also on that gig. We had a little bit of a party on board the Jeannie Johnson. But Pete was out front and leading it. But yeah, I mean, I often say that, like, if I could sit down with 12-year-old Roy and say to him, you keep firing on with the ballads, and at some stage you're going to be doing this kind of thing, I probably wouldn't have believed it, because I looked up to them guys so much.
What else would you say to 12-year-old Roy?
I'd say to him, never ever get friendly with Ken Perry.
Get a good hairdresser.
I'd say never ever get friendly with Ken Perry.
Yeah, buy a second shirt.
Oh, Ken Parrott.
Because he might never ever get friendly with Ken Perry because he's trying to get onto your sister.
Yeah. And he's backing up your sister before you know
That's
it.
probably
Not
what
your
he said.
sister.
Not my sister. And not Hank's sister either.
Maybe.
Anyway, that one's supposed to come out. Anyway, what happened is, so I've been in touch with Pete, and I've often turned up and played on showcases that he would do, and he'd introduce his songs, and I'd do one, and other great Irish, like there's so much respect in the Irish industry in general, but for guys like Pete, that Paul Harrington from the Rock and Roll Kids, I shared The Fields of Athenry with him one night up in Dublin for a showcase of Pete's songs. He turned up to do Pete's new drinking song, and then Sean McGuinness from Dublin City Ramblers turned up as well, because the Ramblers had a hit with the Ferryman, and they also recorded The Rare Old Times. Sean McGuinness told me that Pete St. John gave him The Rare Old Times sitting on the bonnet of the car. He sang it to him, so I did look, yeah, all these guys would turn up and do it for Pete out of respect as well. So when you think of the songs he's written, like The Fields of Athenry, Dublin There Old Times, The Ferryman, Danny Farrell, Hey Johnny McGorry, Rings End Rose, just all songs that if you go to a traditional session or a folk session anywhere, that's anywhere half decent, you're going to hear a couple of Pete songs. And it's same with Phil Coulter, same with Liam Riley, Jimmy McCarthy, people like that, great songwriters. And I said this, I think, the other night as well on part one of this launch, where like the songs become bigger than the songwriter as well. They, like, especially those songs, because they give Irish people a sense of identity. Like you said earlier, when you're in the UK or when you're out foreign somewhere else, they make you feel Irish, they make you feel like you're at home and all that. And I think there's no greater compliment for a songwriter if you give your people a sense of identity no matter where they are in the world. I think that's probably the greatest thing you can do.
I find that, like, I drink in a country pub and they all come
That's
in.
because you won't get served in the city.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Because I'm not alone in the city. But when you go to the pub and like we get a jukebox, or like you know, when you can put on the tunes and everybody can play, but you can put on all the modern music you want,
Yeah.
and everyone's like dancing away or doing their stuff. But when you put on like I know you slag me over Johnny Logan, like if you put on like the Rare All Times or all these songs, Phil Coulter songs, there's an extra buzz comes into everybody and everyone knows the songs and everyone sings it.
Well,
And I think that's amazing.
Isn't it mad how you go to a party, and all the pop stuff and the rock stuff and the DJ and all that happens, and at the end of the night, when they're all sitting around at 2 or 4 in the
Yeah,
morning,
exactly.
what songs are they singing then?
Yeah.
And it's the ballads and the
And when we
folk
go on
ones.
holidays, if you go to Spain, the first thing you do is you go to an
You go
Irish
to
pub.
Irish pub.
We
Because
gotta
you
get
know
out,
that's where the
can't wait
crack
to
is.
get out of this country. And then you go to O'Brien's.
Because you know that's what the crack is, you know you're guaranteed fun in an Irish thing.
Yeah.
Irish people have that unique ability, you know. I was chatting to Mick Hutch, my uncle, recently on the phone, and he said, he described it about how an Irish guy will pick up on a joke straight away. Like if we were having a wind up with someone and I winked at you, you know, you'd straight away be in on it. And he was saying, if you think of the process, you have to take it in, realise it's a joke, get a funny answer back, and keep it going, and have it all in about a half a second. And he said, that's something that Irish people really have more than, but you know, I'm sure other countries are be funny too, but the Irish, we love the fun, and we're able to just click on it like that, you know. Anyway, I better do this song because Pete was on to me about a new song he has written called Waltzing on Borrowed Time. And he gave me a big shout out yesterday on his social media, and he told everyone that I was going to sing it tonight. So I thought I'd give it a go. And now, as I said, I was only asked yesterday, and I usually wouldn't have lyrics in front of me, but I never ever want to mess up a Pete St. John song. So I'll give this a go, will I? Okay. I was waiting for a smart comment there. Was the one comment?
Hi there, if you make a balls of it, just bend into the field.
We're used to making the balls of it.
When all the world was green and free, and nature knew no fear, when oceans were our saving grace, and our rivers all ran clear, when forests were the air's best friend, and virgin snow sublime, before man called a different tune, we waltzed on borrowed time. We'd go waltzing, waltzing, waltzing on borrowed time. When will we learn to show concern for a world on borrowed time? In daily death, rain forests fall, to world consumer greed, and greenhouse gases violate the very air we breathe. Our fires and floods, the climate change, they say has now begun, to be our grim, sad legacy for our children yet to come. We go waltzing, waltzing, waltzing on borrowed time. When will we learn to show concern for our world on borrowed time? Across the world, in every land, let a new awareness grow, that nations must protect the earth as the seeds of hope we sow. A hope, a dream, a way of life, when man and nature rhyme, and creatures of the earth won't need to waltz on borrowed time. Waltz on, waltzing on borrowed time. When will we learn to show concern for our world? Once more for peace. Waltzing on borrowed time. When will we learn to show concern for our world on borrowed time? That's what I mean. Pete St. John. A new one from Pete. I'm very honoured that he would call upon me again to represent him with a song. He called me up in 2016 to represent him with a song called Cara Tanzi that he's been telling all his own social media people about, and that's a whole different story. I'll do that maybe on Wednesday night when I'm back doing my pub gig again.
I want to come back to a couple of years ago on a Sound Collector session, and we were in Hallie's in Blackpool, if you remember.
I do.
And Leslie Dowdall from Into a New was
That's
there.
right.
It came to me earlier when you were singing Devil Rose. She sang that with you. On
She
the night.
did, actually.
And you did an absolutely fantastic version of it.
Leslie loved it. We did the South County in Douglas the night before, and Leslie said she really liked Devil Rose, and she said, "Will I do it with you tomorrow?" I sure, he's blown away. Leslie's an incredible singer. Wonderful Thing was a big hit for her, and of course she was written to Anua. But funny enough, I was just talking to Leslie yesterday. She was on to me, giving me congratulations and everything. You know what else we sang that night? John Prine's
Angel from Montgomery.
that's
I
the
think
one.
that's the
Yeah,
one
yeah,
you're
I was
talking
talking about that
about.
earlier. So myself and Leslie did that. Will we give it a go?
Right.
You're a big John Prine fan,
I
and you
love
know
him.
what? One of the greatest songwriters we ever had, and I knew on the podcast, and you told me how the Beatles and John Prine was such an influence on you. So poor old John Prine passed away recently, and his wife Fiona comes from Donegal, so
That's right.
he used to spend a lot of time in Ireland. Beautiful, beautiful songwriters, Speed of the Sound of Loneliness, and Sam Stone, and so many more brilliant, brilliant songs, Souvenirs, and you know, just brilliant, brilliant lyrics, and he's just outstanding. We'll
Not
begin.
too surprising that he would end up here with all the ballads and the songs, and that,
Yeah.
that he would love it here like that, you know.
Apparently he did like them a lot, so will we give Angel from Montgomery a go, Hank?
Sure.
Did we ever do this together?
I don't
give
think
it
that
a
really
go.
matters. We're speaking the same language.
You
Let's
get ready,
give it a
I'll
go.
do this. Don't forget, An Old Man in Patrick Street is available out now, available from all your major downloading sources and streaming platforms. You'll find it on iTunes. It's currently standing at number 2 in the iTunes Irish chart. We'd love to give that extra push, so if you can, do it for 99 cents.
Tell all
Download
your
it now.
pals.
An Old Man on Patrick Street. If you're watching this live, share the stream as well. We'll be doing it once again before we wrap up in about an hour's time. Right,
I
go.
must check in with Bernard as well soon for the online people.
After this, we'll do another request.
Grand. Let us. I hope Pete's joining us. He told me he was going to be here, and I think there's a few others might pop in. So Bernard, you might keep an eye on that and let us know. Anyway, Angel from Montgomery. I've been watching a video on YouTube with John Prine singing this. They said it's about a housewife. Am I kicking her off, am I? Okay. Okay. I am an old woman, named after my mother. My old man's another child that's growing old. And if dreams were lightning, thunder was desire, this old house had burned down a long time ago. Make me an angel that flies from Montgomery. Make me a poster on an old rodeo. Just just a hard way to go.
Now when I was a young girl, Lord, I had me a cowboy. He weren't much to look at, just a free rambling man. Oh, but that was such a long, long time, and no matter how I try, the years keep on rolling by like a broken down dam. Make me an angel, flies from Montgomery. Make me a poster of an old rolling road. Just give me one good thing that I can hold on to. Believing this living is just a hard way to go.
I'll play the verse, thank you. There's flies in the kitchen, I can hear them, they're buzzing. I ain't done nothing since I woke up today. And how the hell can a person go to work every morning, come home in the evening and have nothing to say? Make me an angel that flies from Montgomery. Make me a poster of an old rodeo. Just give me one thing that I can hold on to believe in this living's just a hard way to go. Make me an angel that flies from Montgomery. Make me a poster of old rodeo. Just give me one thing that I can hold on to believe in this living's just a hard way to go. To believe in this living's just a hard way to go. To believe in this living's just a hard way to go. Nice one, Hank. Oh yeah. Hold on.
Right, let's get a request from Bernard. What have we got?
Okay, so we had Mary McWilliams looking for The Dutchman. Celine Morley was looking for Red is the Rose. Carla Gould was looking for First Leaves of Autumn. I know you said you might do it later. Lisa Kelleher was looking for The Ramsey Da. Sandra O'Shaughnessy in Rathdrum was looking for The Green Fields of France. Michael Corcoran was looking for Boule of Vogue.
Oh, another good one. Oh, good one.
Nick McHugh, Streets of London.
Can I say something?
You can say lots of things.
Robbie Brady and Hendrick are not putting in requests from Burnley because you know, like,
Come on.
you sound like Sean Dyche. You got the same gravel in your throat. They're probably going to shit
I think you'll
themselves.
find that Sean sounds like me.
Yeah, no, he's totally like you. No wonder you were playing these wedding. It's not a click.
I probably met him.
After I sorted it all out.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
My own agent's fees in this.
I want to get Francie Conley in as well.
Yeah, one song straight to Francie. Sorry for keeping you open, Francie.
Okay. I don't want to get
One
Francie
request.
in.
Boule of Vogue, Caledonia.
I think Caledonia tonight as well.
Columbia Rivers Run Free.
You know what? Let's do that, I think, because Mickey McConnell has been checking in with us as well a lot on these virtual Irish pub gigs.
Hello, Mickey.
He's living down in Listowel now.
Listowel, yeah.
Yeah, he's originally from Ballinalec, up there in Enniskillen. And all his family have all sorts of awards for writing. His brother Cormac McConnell wrote a song, actually one of the first songs I ever recorded, about Christmas in the trenches in 1915. It has a few different names, Christmas 1915, No Man's Land, and that. But yeah, they're brilliant for what they've contributed to our culture as well. Will we give that a go?
Sure.
You're cool on that, aren't you?
Okay.
Let's do it in, yeah, I have a capo on the third fret in the C there, so, yeah, D sharp.
Great that you're doing together, lads, because a couple of people said you should both play together much more.
We do sometimes to Bobard.
We've had our moments.
Yeah,
Usually after hours, though.
yeah, it's usually late or very early in the
We're
early morning house.
waiting for Uncle Mick to bring us to France, so we can lay waste to France.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would be
Find
good.
the
I
heart,
do used
so-
to-
You hear that, Mick?
Yeah,
you
well,
hear that, Mick?
Mick is in.
Well, Hank used to tour with Mick around France for a long time.
I did a couple of tours of
Yeah.
duty, yeah, with Mick, yeah.
Yeah, he was on the other night. He was very funny. So let's give this a go. And back on the Phil Coulter topic, because when Phil was producing Planksty, he was the one who brought this one to their attention. And I was doing a show down my van in Kerry with Phil and Owen Hunt, the former Irish public.
He's a lovely man.
Lovely guy, the manager, former Ireland manager, introduced Phil on stage and spoke about this. He said that Mickey McConnell, this is what Owen said, that Mickey McConnell credited Phil for bringing it to Planksty, and I think they were very first to record it. Am I right on that?
They probably,
Because it's been recorded by loads of people. The last count, All Europe Was Run Free, had been recorded in over 50 different languages.
yeah.
Just some going, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. When the apples still grow in November and blossoms still bloom on each tree, when leaves are still green in December, it's then that our land will be free. I wander her hills and her valleys, and still through my sorrow I see a land that has never known freedom, and only her rivers run free. I drink to the death of her manhood, to those men who'd rather have died than to live in the cold chains of bondage, to bring back their rights were denied. Oh, where are you now when we need you? What burns where the flame used to be? Are you gone like the snows of last winter? And will only our rivers run free? How sweet is life, but we're crying. How mellow the wine, but it's dry. How fragrant the rose, but it's dying. How gentle the wind, but it sighs. What good is in youth when it's aging? What joy is in eyes that can't see? When there's sorrow in sunshine and flowers, and only our rivers run free, and only our rivers run free. I just thought of something during that song. When I used to sing that years ago, instead of going to that seventh, you gave me that.
What did I give you?
You gave John has an eyes that can't see.
Oh,
I used to go to the minor.
Oh yeah, it's
And
amazing.
one time at a trad session, you said to me, "Your voice would be nice on the 7th. You should try it." And I've done it ever since.
Good stuff.
So there's an old plug for Hank Waddell.
Well, I can remember Mick McConnell's that.
Mickey McConnell, yeah.
Do you remember Eleanor that used to play bass with me?
Ella Healy.
Ella Healy.
Yeah, hell of a musician.
Yeah, she's amazing. She lives in Australia now. I hope
Is that where she is now?
Yeah, I hope she's watching.
Wow.
she'll
Eleanor's
see us
played
on.
with everyone, you and Jimmy McCarthy and Christy Moore and everyone else. She's a hell of a player.
Yeah, she's something else, and she can sing. Like, I think that's the first song she ever learned. And we were playing down in Crawley's in Kinmare, and in walks Mickey.
Go ahead.
Yeah. But I don't know that she know it. And then I said, that's the fellow that wrote that song. That's
Brilliant.
the first song I think she ever
He
wrote.
also wrote that very funny one that Phil Coulter's brought into his set, and a lot of people are doing it. You know that funny one about the Little the Aldi song?
Yeah.
Yeah, he wrote that as
He
well.
came in and he sang that as well.
He also wrote Peter Pan and Me for Liam Clancy. Well, Liam Clancy covered it anyway. I don't know if he wrote it specifically for him, but nevertheless, Clancy did a job on his song. Yeah, great songs.
Yeah.
You know, anyway.
My old manager Pat Dolan texted me today about like saying good luck in the game,
Oh, did he?
coming on with you, you know.
He's a nice guy,
Yeah, he's a lovely guy and like.
lovely guy.
But he used to always say to me, if you're a footballer or a sportsman, it's 24/7. Your life is 24/7. But like I suppose like people watch like and with your single and your career and everybody watching you. But like, what's it like for people? Because I have people come to me and say about like becoming a footballer or whatever. But like people think it's easy. You just sit down and you play the guitar and you make this thing.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
is it taxing on your life or does it affect your life? Or
Well, I think anybody who works for themselves, no matter what it is it's a full-time job, because you know if you're a sole trader or a company or whatever where you're essentially in charge of your own income.
Yeah.
You gotta be working a lot, you know, 24/7 because, and Hank will tell you, you know, if you're a working musician, especially if you're starting out or you're on your way up or whatever, then sometimes you will have plans that you'll have to cancel to go and do the thing, you know, if it's going to be good for you or if it's, I think what you put in, you get out of it. And I'm actually Hank again. I remember Hank on the podcast recently saying to me, it's important to be happy with what you got. And I took something from that because he's right. If you're forever, like you have to be grateful for what you've achieved or what comes your way and everything. That's very important. And you should be strong to push yourself forward, definitely. But you can't lose sight of the fact that you got to be happy somewhere. And it's important sometimes to stop and take stock of it, you know.
yeah.
And I think anybody working for themselves, yeah, you can't really switch off. If you're hungry for something, like, I don't really see it as work, because I talk about the songs all the time. This is what I ever wanted to do. So I don't really see it as work, but I understand your question of, because you are constantly working, but I never wanted to do anything else, so I don't really, I don't know, did I just confuse the whole question?
No, but I need to interrupt you anyway. Before we go to our next person, I need to quickly mention the song once again. It's available for download or to listen to, stream on all your streaming platforms, and available to download on iTunes. Our next guest has toured with the likes of Ronnie Drew, Finbar Fury, Christy Dignam. He has played many Song Collector sessions. He actually toured as well with Jan Ackerman. You told me that a minute ago. And only last week recorded a version of the Irish Rover with Roy Buckley. Please, if we can get him on screen.
Well, before he comes on now, I want to talk about Francie Conway for a second, because Francie has a thing called Troubadour Club. And if there's ever a troubadour, it's Francie Conway, a very hard-working guy. Hits in Europe and everything. He's heavily involved in the Christy Hennessy Festival down in Tralee every year. I'm lucky enough to be part of that when he pulls me in. It's great, I love doing it. But Francie, it's just about my life. Francie is the guy who put me in touch the first day with Liam Riley, with Pete St. John, and with Finbar Fury. Francie put them my way, and I've become great pals with them, but he's the common denominator on that. He's such a very humble and great guy and a hell of a songwriter. Do you know what? Let's get him in. Let's get him in. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to introduce you to my great friend, Mr. Francie Conway. Hey! Can you hear us?
Hello?
Can you hear us, Francie?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, my friend. How are you?
Hey, cool, nice one.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
nice to see your
Listen,
face.
guys, I'm enjoying the show fantastically, and congratulations, Roy, on the track and the reaction you're getting to it. I'm absolutely thrilled.
Thank you so much.
You know, I mean, I first heard the song when you played it at Troubadour Club, and I was quite intrigued by it, and it's wonderful that many other people are now. And tonight's show, let me just say, I mean, okay, we all have different backgrounds in music. I found this here in my collection. Do you recognize it?
You didn't even open it.
He's hoping
A
to
very
get
young
for it
guy.
any
You can see
day.
the coffee cup stain on it.
The plastic is
And
still on
then
it.
from Darren, I found this in my collection. So, I mean, I'm
That's
listening
Vikings,
to
oh,
folk
brilliant.
music, guys, you know. And then an album I absolutely adore. Have a listen to this as well.
All
Hey,
right.
guys.
Oh, brilliant.
How you doing, Francie? Thank you very much.
Hey, buddy, how's it going?
Not too bad. Have we seen each other since the corner
Hey,
note? I don't
peace,
know.
love and rock and roll, man, always.
Exactly.
At least we know you've got 3 new frisbees anyway.
What?
You've got 3 new frisbees.
But
the
hang
dis-
on a second. I mean, I go through periods where I want to listen to folk music. I want to listen to metal music. I want to listen to rap music. You know, I just keep going through different phases, and I love having things in my collection to bring out to the garden. And Rory and I can sit there and go, "Hey, listen to this. Yeah, it's cool," you know.
You know what? Now that you brought up the folk album, because I know Francie Conway as a rocker. That's what I know. And this is a family show, so some of them stories are not for telling. But
Family.
recently, I had the great honour of being included on your new album. But I want to tell the viewers, this is the first time Francie Conway has ever did a folk album. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, it came my way. I mean, I wrote the title track for The Wild Atlantic Way, and we incorporated Finbarr's Lonesome Boatman.
It was
And,
beautiful.
Yeah, and I found it fascinating because I have to say I absolutely adore the west of Ireland. I adore, one of my big loves in the world is the Atlantic and the west coast of Ireland. And we did the song, and then, you know, it was put to me, let's take a look at some other songs for along the coastline, you know. And so we were looking at Cork, and I was looking, oh Jesus, and I was thinking, I mean, okay, Cork, of course, I would think of Val Cook. There's only one, you know, the Lord Mayor of Cork, Val Cook, and I would be thinking of John Spillane. And of course, I'd be thinking of Hank Wendell, and I'd be thinking of, you know, I mean, just great Cork musicians. And then I thought, like, who in all that incredible company would know guys like Slugger O'Toole and all these kind of characters that would be on the ship that I'd never come in contact with. And then I went, oh yeah, that'd be feckin' Roy Buckley, all right. He'd know them. Do you know what I mean? I mean, he'd be able to connect with these because they'd all say, Jesus, Roy, we love to sing song with you, man, you know. And, you know, and so when I asked you, Roy, it was like, I kind of knew you had the right, you know, frame of mind to be that part of the crew, that shipmate that would kind of be, you know, he would be taking care of all the crew. As I was the captain, I mean,
You're always the
Matt
captain,
Kelly
Sean.
was the chief engineer.
Matt Kelly,
Phelan
yeah.
Drew, you know, Phelan was the quartermaster. So it was like, I mean, we all had our jobs, you know.
There was a lot of guys in on that. You managed to, on the track that I was in. First of all, I loved your version of Barney Hare from the County Clare. And I loved your version of Donegal Danny. And I spoke to Phil Coulter about that. He was blown away by it too. And I just loved how on the Irish Rover you had the balls to change it and to do it Francie Conway's way, and it really worked. And then,
Well, you see, I thought to myself, there's not that really much point in kind of recording it the way everybody else has recorded it, because
yeah,
that doesn't kind of bring anything new to the story and to the lyric. And like what you guys were saying earlier on, all these songs, that they're part of our DNA, they're part of who we are, they're part of our past, our present, and our future. And we have the responsibility to take care of these songs, to, you know, nurture them, to bring them forward. And I just thought, I mean, what a great song to kind of just move again and just bring into a different dimension. And, and you know, and it's a great Cork song. I mean, Jesus, I mean, one of my dreams is always would be to go from Ireland by ship to New York City. I mean, I got to do it in the record. You know, it's like, that's what, I mean, you know, Hank would tell you about that. He's writing songs. Has he been in those situations? Oh,
I
yeah.
sailed from New York. I sailed from New York to Cork when I was a kid.
What?
I did.
on a Russian boat.
On a
that went
Russian
down.
boat, yes, I did. Yes,
That
I
went
did.
down,
I did.
and that sank afterwards.
It did. It did.
Hank came over on it and it sank afterwards.
I didn't
Coincidence.
go from the Cove of Cork, but I went from.
Oh,
the Cove-
lovely.
Yeah.
He came back. But yeah, I just loved the Irish Rover. I loved that Phelan was on it because his dad, Ronnie, had been on the Irish Rover with the Pogues. I love that you pulled in Ivan Smith. I love that you got Liam O'Connor on it and Matt Kennigan, and like a great lineup, you know. And I remember when you called me up about it and said it slowed down. To tell you the truth, I didn't know if it would work. And then when I heard what you did with it, I was blown away. And it's one of my favourite versions of the Irish Rover now, just because you said to
thank
me
you.
About telling the story, and it really does. You know, the way you arranged it. I was delighted to be part
Well,
of it.
thank you, Roy. I mean, coming from a folky man, that's cool, you know.
Well, you're a folky man yourself, didn't you tour with the Furies for a long, long time?
Well, I mean, the funny thing about it is that let's be honest about this. I was never into folk music, you know. And when I think it was 17, I was in Toronto. I went over to New York for a look. I ended up in Toronto, and I ended up back in Tommy Makem. I have to say, I'd heard the name, but I didn't know exactly the magnitude of who I was backing, you know. You know, I ended up playing at Liam Clancy's last gig in the National Concert Hall. You know, the lineup was Finbar, Tom Paxton, John Sheehan, and myself. I mean, what a fabulous band to be part of. You know, I toured with the Furies. Yeah, I got to play with all my folk heroes, with Ronnie Drew in particular. You know, when we did A Drop of Irish Rain.
That's right, Ronnie sang on A Drop of Irish Rain, didn't he? You know what it is? You wouldn't know where you'd find Francie Conway. I've often rang him and he's in Stockholm or he's in Geneva or he's in somewhere doing some sort of an event. But I called him up one time and he said to me, Roy, I have about 5 minutes to talk to you because I'm going back into the studio. I'm just recording with Freddie Mercury's microphone and David Bowie's guitar. And Dave Richards from Queen was producing Francie's thing, yeah. That was a couple of years ago before Dave passed away. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of, this is your night tonight, right?
Man, it's everyone's night. Irish music and Irish artists are winning. That's the thing.
My past is fucking, you know, is crazy. And, you know, tonight is your night. We're here to celebrate your incredible achievement with this song. Your incredible achievement. I think the importance of what's going on right now is the thing of, you've got to remember back, like people go back in the history of songwriting and they say stories, there weren't songs, it was events that happened in different towns, villages, situations. They were told in song and story and passed from village to village. Newspapers, media, everything built up. Songs will always be there. And the thing is, these songs, Roy, and you've become an incredible collector, and you've got an incredible heart and soul for delivering these incredible stories and songs, and they're part of our history. And it's just great that the legacy is going to be passed on. The legacy is going to move on and on and on. And that's what really excites me about what
that's
you're
just
doing.
my whole life, Francie. I love all that, you know. And you mentioned Liam Clancy there, and I remember Liam Clancy saying one time that the folk songs are real because they were written by the people of the time. He said the history books are the propaganda of the winner. But he said,
Well, you see, I would totally agree with Liam, because, I mean, like, songs are about connection. They're about now. They're about what we're living. They're about who we're feeling, you know? And it's an incredible, I mean, nobody ever knows when you're writing a song how it's going to connect with somebody. You know, like, I think about Hank's song and I think about Listen, and I just get drawn in, and it just brings me back to different places in my life. I listen to songs that you've done, and it brings me back to different places. Nobody knows the effect that songs are going to have on people. And this is one of the incredible things about writing a song, that, I mean, songs become part of our, I would say it like our life's landscape. You know, I mean, we all know songs that we love, we cherish, we adore, you know, and then we come to let's say, the end of somebody's life, and we go to their passing, their funeral, and we're hearing songs that meant something to them. These songs were part of their lifescape, part of their everyday things that made them who they are. And the thing is, like, when you guys, Ryan, Hank, you're sitting down at the moment, you're thinking about new songs. You could be writing a song, part of somebody's lifescape, that's going to mean so much to them right now and into the future. That's an incredible thing for us to have.
Yeah, I think songs can mean a different, like a million different things to a million different people. I say that a lot, and I think, especially right now for me, having finally let the Old Man on Patrick Street off to do what it's going to do, I know what you're saying about a song can take on a life of its own, and then it goes off and it means something else to somebody else or whatever, you know, and that's part of the song's journey, I suppose, you know, as opposed to the songwriter's journey. The song does its own thing, you know. You have enough of them anyway, you know what I'm talking about.
But I mean, Roy, we're living in a piece of history where right-wing politics is growing. You know, this needs to be brought attention to. People need to know what's going on. This is again, this is where songwriters come in. This is where music comes in. You know, this is where, you know, guys like us, we need to speak out. And it's incredible because that's the platform. And it always has been that.
Well, I'm loving that you're uploading songs nearly every day at this stage. You've got a new song out, and my old pal Rory is sitting alongside you every time.
Well, I mean, Rory is the co-writer of these songs. I mean, and the funny thing you mentioned about Pete St. John. Hi, Pete, if you're listening tonight, Pete, peace, love, and rock and roll, Pete. But it's like when Pete put up that lyric of the self-isolation blues, and I remember
like a shot.
I read the lyric, and the first thing that attracted me to it, I went, I've never seen the word blues in any of Pete St. John's songs before. And I thought, this could be interesting. Put a little bluesy kind of twist to the thing, you know. And I did, and we put it out for a bit of fun, and it went all over the place. It was the start of the lockdown, and it went all over the place. And then I started thinking, like, you know, what else, you know, I've enjoyed this. And then I started thinking, start writing songs about being in the lockdown, start writing songs about the lockdown, what our emotions, our feelings, our attitudes are. And suddenly I started going and I started going and I started going. The songs were coming out. And then I hit a period where I hit rock bottom. And to be honest with you, within the lockdown, I found it very difficult for a couple of weeks. I had 2 weeks where I didn't know day or night. It just hit me so hard. It was like I never knew the thing of mental health before until it kind of hit me right in the face. And, you know, I got help, I worked through, and I started writing again. And I've just put up something today about fresh porter on the way. Oh, next week. Yeah.
You mean like this one here, is it? Oh!
Francie, Ken here. We were talking earlier on about, you mentioned earlier, about letters being passed throughout villages. When you look at some of the stuff that Roy is doing to elevate his music to the new generation, to new platforms, because you can't just release a song anymore because records and CDs aren't being bought as much anymore. Now it's down to the publicity behind it, the social media behind it, the endorsements from fellow artists. But yes, we're talking on An Old Man in Patrick Street about homelessness and a problem that hasn't gone away in 10 years and that isn't going to go anywhere for a very long time.
Yeah, but you see, what you've got to remember, in the 70s, in the late 70s, punk was incredible because it meant that young guys who could play could actually do something without having to be technically incredibly brilliant. What has happened over this lockdown is that it has been a liberation. It has been a liberation from musicians, songwriters, because the thing is that there is no record companies involved. There is no big publicity campaign involved. There is nothing like that is involved. And suddenly you can really see the true heart of the people whose soul is involved in music, who are the delivering people of music, lyrics, melodies, songs, the feelings. And, you know, the last couple of weeks, you know, you can really see this. And it's been incredible. It's like a liberation. Now, people like Roy, people like, you know, all songwriters, all musicians, everybody can now achieve a platform and they're not dependent on the industry to say, yeah, I think you're okay. Because people from the industry, you know, they come from the business background, they come from accountancy, they come from everything else. They don't come from the passion of music, lyrics, emotions, what songs, what deliverance is all about.
Well, you've certainly been doing that for a long time, Francie, because you're also heavily involved in the rock schools, especially up in Dublin, where you write the exams and you bring in younger ones and people who've gone on to become famous or who I won't mention any names. You can if you like, but I won't. But people who've come through you and your school, your rock school and stuff, and you put them on the right path. So without people like you doing that, like you're kind of an unsung hero for helping out the younger generations. It's a bit like Hank here as well. Like you're happy to dig in and help out, even if there's nothing in it for you. You're doing it because maybe that's the thing that what it is in for you. Maybe that's the thing to kick you get out of it, that you like helping. But I know you've been doing it for so long, and without fellas like you and Hank there and my uncle Mick and all these other great people, in my case anyway, without people like that, I mean, the industry will probably die on its arse because, like, you need the fellas who did it before you or who have the chance to help to actually help, and you have been. So I can just say from my side, while I might be younger than you, I certainly appreciate everything that you've done for me, and also the stories that I've heard about the other artists who you've helped along the way. You should be thanked for it. So publicly now, I wanted to say that. So legends.
Well, I mean, the thing is, right, I remember back, you know, when I started working, when Damien Dempsey only started to write songs, and Damien had songs, you know, he was kind of talking about like Route 66 and stuff, and I said, what the fuck do we know about that? That's way over there, man. Talk about what we know about. And then we started to kind of connect as regards write about what we are, you know, who we are, what we feel. And I remember he wrote a song called Cardboard City, and I honestly remember thinking, like, Demo, we got to get this out. We got to get people to hear this song, because this problem of homelessness will be gone within a couple of months. And it would be great if we got you out there with this song, because people can relate to it, because it will be gone in 6 months. Now, I'm sorry to say that was over 20 years ago, 25 years ago or something.
Yeah.
You know, so the thing is that the songwriting was always there, that passion to look up, you know, the subjects.
Yeah, well, the topic of homelessness have been around a lot, like Bob Dylan wrote, It's Only a Hobo, and Ralph McTell Streets in London. You know, there's a lot of songs about it. So it's decades that this thing has been going on. You know, that should be like, you know, I don't want to sound like I'm trying to jump in and save the world's problems here, but it's something that can be solved if they really want to solve it, you know. So yeah, I'm delighted that the likes of Damien Dempsey is still writing songs about homelessness. The more people who write songs about things like topics like that, the better it will be. Maybe more attention on it, you know. So that's great.
Well, the thing is, guys, tonight we're celebrating Mr. Roy Buckley. What an achievement. What a cool dude. Would you
Thank you,
reckon,
sir.
Hank? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
So. Oh yeah, for a long time. Yeah, he keeps the songs
Yeah,
alive.
yeah.
He keeps the whole thing going.
Right, we've got to come back to some music. Francie Conway, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Much
I'll
appreciated
see
your
you
time.
soon, all right?
See you up in the corner, though,
Before
Francie.
he goes.
Oh,
Big love.
See you in the corner,
Francie's
though.
been given a noble call.
Hang on a
apparently.
second now.
Francie,
Hang on.
Francie.
I want you to send my love to all your family, all the great gang. I love seeing them every year in Tralee for the Christianity Festival. I won't see you this year unless things get sorted out in the meantime. But pass on my love to all your gang. They're all lovely people you have there.
Tell him everyone online loves him and says hi.
I'm being told
Thank
to
you,
tell
Roy.
you. I'm being told to tell you that everybody online watching loves you, and what? And it says hi and says hello.
All
Right,
say
okay.
hi, and they're all considering now that your new nickname should be the Humble Balladeer. After Francie's words.
Oh,
there.
Jesus,
Did you
listen
ask
to that.
Francie to,
Don't be saying that,
request
Roy.
a song from you.
Listen, do you want to say goodbye to Francie?
Yeah, let's go. Francie, before we go, Bernard has suggested that you might pick a song for Roy to give. We need some music pretty quickly. So will you pick the next song that Roy can sing in?
Something easy, you know, Bohemian Rhapsody or something.
Exactly. Why not do It's a Kind of Magic? All the guys are here behind you, looking at you. Yeah, it'd be cool, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna get out of here.
You're going
Thank
to
you very
kill me,
much.
Roy. I love you, man.
Absolutely, you're dead tomorrow.
Let's come back to some music though. Bernard, give us some of the requests
Okay,
that
Francie, I'll see you later, pal. Thanks for stopping by.
All right.
So we had Dennis Coleman come up with the word, the name, the Humble Balladeer. Look for a Luke Kelly song. There's loads.
I think you call it the Hungry Balladeer. That's what I like
There's
it.
loads of requests from Johnny Sheen looking for We Had It All. Obviously, it was mentioned online.
I sang that the other night as well. Now didn't I? We did two Mikey's the other night.
It must have been mentioned online. And
Maybe Mikey's in. I don't know.
He's looking for royalties.
We got the town I love so well now.
Pauline
Yeah, I think-
McAlin look for any Derry song.
Or, yeah.
Well, that's that. A Derry song and Georgie there.
He's such a cocky. That's where you are now. You're getting cocky football. Yeah.
Come here, I'm not you at all.
Isn't he? See,
No,
he
I'm not
flagged me
you.
off there, guys.
I'm not you at all. Get out of it.
Yeah.
The shout outs there. Tina Dean look for the hills of Donegal, and Tony Ann look for the streets of New York. Look up there. So Polo Fogue has been requested several times.
Well, hang on. Georgie there shouted for the town I loved so well, and somebody was looking for a Derry song, so that
Yeah.
ticks 2 boxes
Yeah,
there.
Pauline McAlin.
Oh, yes, John.
No problem. I was with an Irish ballad group that won Scoring and Old, and I backed
You
them
once
up.
scored in the Oak.
Twice.
You should have kept that very quiet.
I did. Well, as Francine, this is
Hang
your
on, you
night.
didn't move to Mallow till you were 12. What were you doing in scoring in the
I
Oak?
was in Scoring and Old when I was 14 in 1978.
So you were in there in 2 years, and you were in a ballad band.
4.
Oh, you came over when you were 10.
I came over when I was 11, and in 1978, I was in a ballad group.
And you went with this.
They were called the Hashingi. They wouldn't let me sing. They only had me to play guitar, but it was a good education because I played guitar and I listened to how harmony works. Because it was a ballad group where there was like 3-part harmony. There was a boy soprano, John O'Leary, and the Kylie sisters, and Carol O'Mahony.
A good gangy you saw.
Yeah, we used to. I had red tie and white shirt, up in the National Stadium in 1978.
Fancy Hank.
You didn't know that, did you?
No, I didn't.
No.
Do you sing this?
Yeah, I do actually. What key do you do it?
Well, I'm going to do it in B flat, but I can,
Oh, B flat. Okay. Fair
is
enough.
that okay for you?
That's fine,
I
buddy.
can
Fine.
change it around.
No, B flat's fine.
Hank's been around a long time.
You know what? On the tone it up so well. One of the things that stands out for me about this song, of course, Luke Kelly nailed it, and the Dubliners and Paddy Wright and everyone. That was great. But we had Phil Coulter on the podcast, and at the very end, PJ's bookend question to Phil was, of everything you've done, you know, Elvis Presley doing your song, the basically Rollers, the Eurovision wins, everything, playing in the White House, playing for the Nobel Peace Prize, everything you've done, is the one thing that stands out for you. It's the one thing that you know, say, I'd do it all again for that moment. He didn't even hesitate, and he said, yeah, standing in the box of the Royal Albert Hall. Ruin my story there, Keith. Ruin my story.
He just wants you to play the song.
He says, standing in the box of the Royal Albert Hall, watching Luke Kelly sing The Town I Loved So Well for the very first time. That was the moment. In my memory, I'll always see the town that I have loved so well, where our school played ball by the gas yard wall, and we laughed through the smoke and the smell, going home in the rain, running up the dark lane, past the jail and down behind the fountain. Those were happy days in so many, many ways, in the town I loved so well.
In the early morning, the shirt factory horn called the women from the Cregan, the Bow and the Bottom, while all the men on go, they played on Mother I love so well.
There was music there in the dairy air, like a language that we all could understand. I remember the day I earned my first pay when I played in a small pickup band. There I spent my youth, and to tell you the truth, I was sad to leave it all behind me. For I learned about life, I found a wife in the town I love so well.
But when I return, how my eyes have burned to see how a town could be brought to its knees by the armed cars and the bombed out bars and the gas that hangs on every breeze. Now the army's installed by an old gas yard wall, and the damn barbed wire gets higher and higher. With their tanks and their guns, good God, what have they done to the town I love so well?
Now the music's gone, but they carry on. Their spirits been bruised, never broken, though they'll not forget. Still their hearts are set on tomorrow and peace once again. For what's done is done, and what's won is won, and what's lost is lost and gone forever. I can only pray for a bright, brand new day in the town I loved so well.
Unbelievable, boys.
Nice pretty called a good show, Georgie.
Ah, kid, I just love that song.
You're just licking up to Ryan Colton, aren't you?
No, I'm not. Yeah, do you know what? That song has a lot of meaning to me. Grace is always my favourite song. Irish song, if everyone asks me. But that song, and
Ken loves that too, so you probably hear a lot these days.
yeah, in the new BMW. But like, I love Grace. Grace is always my favourite Irish
Beautiful
song.
song.
But like, the tone I love so well.
cracker, yeah.
It's just amazing when you listen to like the.
They're all brilliant, there's so many great ones.
And when Hank, like, you're just so cool at doing it, man.
I have a very nice experience with that song myself. I ended up playing in New York City in the wake of 9/11, and I was playing in a bar in Upper Manhattan, the West Side. It's called Cannons. If anyone in New York, in the Upper West Side, remember, it was an Irish bar, obviously. Cannons, and I got asked to play the town I love so well, and the whole place, all these tough New Yorkers were singing, all these Irish, you know, every race that was in the bar was singing the song, and I couldn't figure out why would. And then the whole line about the tanks and the guns in the wake of 9/11, you know, it became a militarized zone.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it meant a lot to people to be singing. I mean, it's about Derry, but it's about when law and order and chaos comes to a town.
It's the town I love so well. So like everyone's town is different, but the lyric is brilliant. That like you can feel it for your own town.
For your own town,
it's
yeah,
brilliant.
it's true,
Lads, I'm not going to say a whole lot more tonight, not like me, but I just say it's just been amazing just to see the two of you play together and just sit here, man. Because normally I watch it on the phone.
I've got Hank's back
and
broken
Hank
from
I'm
carrying me.
That's
what it is.
It's so amazing to see two people so gifted and doing this stuff.
Well, we haven't done this for a long time. We've done it this a couple of times, but in the wake of everything being locked down and then easing up a bit, it's good to kind of get together and
It's
speak.
nice to see each
Speak
other.
that language. I mean, you know.
Actually, myself and Hank, we would do a gig, not regularly, every so often, but Mikey Hammerhand gave us this gig a while back on this fancy train. I don't know if we can mention it, can we?
Choo Choo Tuesday?
Yeah, absolutely. And it was
that
a
was
Tuesday night, so I created the Choo Choo Tuesday. And Jimmy Lee would come down and Hank would be on it, but then we were gigging a lot more regularly, and Hank was teaching me these brilliant songs, you know, you dig out these ones, and he's never caught out. See, there's all these tourists on this fancy train, it's like, it costs a fortune to be on it for 6 nights. I don't want to be giving the game away here too much, but it all came through Mikey Hanrahan from Stockton's Wing, and I was doing it for a couple of years, and I bring in different guys, sit down session, but Hank did a lot with me as well, and then you know, they're from all over the world, different places, coming over to tour Ireland in this fancy train. And they'd show a band, sometimes a band that I never even heard of. And Hank, oh yeah, no problem, yeah, he just knock it out.
Yeah, but you do the same with the ballads, as I was saying.
Maybe that's why it worked,
Yeah,
I don't know. But it's not lots of fun.
It's about sharing the songs, isn't it? It's all about, you know, sharing.
You just said Hank never gets caught out. You must end up between the two of you in some weird places at some weird times. Have you ever ended up in a place and in the middle of a song kind of say to yourself, how did I get here? Be it a good point or a bad point in your life. How the heck did I do to
Train
get
was
here?
like that, actually. Train was like that.
George's sister said the same.
I said that there's highs and lows. That was a high. That was a high.
You want to know
I think all the viewers are wondering what the hell is going on.
Nah. That's the
So
mystery.
you're
I think they might have cracked it by now.
Yeah.
We were over in Amsterdam. I'm going to tell the story.
Alright, I don't want to hear it.
Roy was
Can I
playing in
get out of
Amsterdam
this?
this one time, so we said we'd make a weekend out. And
Very much.
there was
Why
there was
am I getting
8 of us went
It
over
was
to
in
Amsterdam.
Mulligan's, that's a great
8 of us
venue.
went over to Amsterdam, and
Miriam and Mulligan has been looking after.
we had a few beers on board.
My
on the
mother's
day of
watching
the
this,
gig.
Ken.
I know, Ken.
And
Mum,
Ken
so-
loves the blue light.
yeah,
right,
yeah.
anyone's watching in the kitchen with my mum,
That's all right.
time to go into silence before Ken becomes your new
Send the
son-in-law.
kids and your mother out to the kitchen right now.
That's it. It's a clean story. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
there were 7 of us. Roy's doing the gig.
Yeah,
and
I'm sorry.
We were sitting up by the stage. You obviously remember this. And we decided the game we played at a wedding. So we started clapping at the end of the song. €2 a man in the middle.
Just coming into me break.
Last person to stop clapping takes the money. So Roy played. We were all clapping away during the song and finished clapping. And next song clapping. And he puts on a ballad and we're still clapping. We took a break for 15 minutes. Came back in and we're still clapping. It went on for about 45 minutes.
When he was there, 8, so this was all for €16.
No, because he was playing, there was 7 of us. 8 of us went for the weekend too.
Okay, so it's
€14.
And 2 was your own.
And
So
pride.
Yeah.
But in fairness,
for 48 minutes.
but what they did do was took the tension away or whatever for people. Like the people who were in the bar were in on the joke. Then it made the second half easier, you know.
But you know, to be fair,
It was
right,
great
so
crack.
you're all in this for 14.
Again, it goes back to the thing about the
€14.
Irish people and the Irish bars around them. If you're looking for a bit of crack, that's where you go.
But you know, to be fair, in Amsterdam, like,
Roy
for
Buckley,
14 euros, they
politician.
could have got the class.
Yeah. See how I did that?
I went when I finished my football career. I went to Asia, and I was looking for this big job, like, and it was big money, like at the time. So my bosses were in
We saw the jet you bought.
Singapore. Yeah, I don't believe all the hype, but my boss said, "Can we meet the other bosses in Hong Kong?" And I was like, "Oh, fine, like, yeah, perfect." So flew over to Hong Kong. And if you've ever been to Hong Kong, you go up. It's amazing little city. Like it's all steps go up. And as we went up, right, there was an Irish bar on the left. I never forget on the left hand side. we're walking up, so I just met the people, I'm chatting to them, they're going, how's it going? Like, trying my best to get this big, no, like, there's a lot of money a month, like, because I really wanted a job. And as we're going walking up, I seen, like I don't know, it's like, O'Flaherty's Irish bar. I joined, just met the guys, and we're walking up to Hong Kong anyway, and next thing I was looking, as I looked from the far, I'm like, that's an Irish bar. Next thing, 4 people ran out of the bar. I'm with like a lot of Asians, like for this job, like my dream job, like, right? And they're going, all right, Georgie, right? Like, I'm going, oh my God, like, so 4 people ran out when, all right, Georgie, what's the crack? Can we have a picture? Can I have a picture with you? Like, right? And I'm going, yeah, no worries. Like, and they were from Ballincollig, but they were Cork City fans.
And they were Hong Kong.
But I hadn't seen people now for like 5 or 6 years because I was away working.
Yeah.
But I was trying to get a job, like with Morgan Stanley Bank, and I'm going up the steps with all the bosses. And like, oh, can you have a picture? Like, and I was like, yeah, no worries. Like, pictures outside an Irish bar where all the Irish music is playing. So I was like, oh, listen, I've got to go. Like, I'm kind of like important meetings. I've got to go with these guys. Like, the boys thought I was David Beckham. And I left the and the boys like,
Did you got your job?
Did you get the gig? Yeah.
good job. I got the job.
We're waiting for Dominic to come online.
Can I just mention one thing before Dominic comes on?
I know what you're going to say. Now I know where the expression the Hong Kong Dong came from.
Hank turned up in Lanzarote apparently one time dressed as Mick Jagger.
Who did?
Hank did.
I didn't dress as Mick Jagger, but I used to dance at this club afterwards. At 3 in the morning they would.
I know what he did.
He's got moves like Jagger. That's what it is.
I know who that is.
Moves like Jagger.
Start me up and come on.
Sorry, you turned up as Mick Jagger.
Did you ever hear about the time that Mick Jagger turned up as Hank Bedell? That's the party you want to be at.
Well, to be fair,
He's Crocodile Dundee tonight, leave him alone.
Is the boys going to get down on the or are you going to play?
He's just come online. He's just come
there
online
he is.
now.
Okay,
Great timing.
okay.
Listen, let's bring
Let's
him
do
in.
a song first, will we?
Red
If you're going
Rose.
to do a song, Roy, will you do me a favour?
Hang on, he's got it before you.
What did he say?
It works well here because he just asked me to do the Red Rose Cafe, and we were chatting.
Oh, yeah.
We were chatting about Holland earlier,
Great, John,
and it's actually
what's requested earlier on?
where Francie there was chatting about
Great
Finbar.
taste in music and women. Okay.
Oh man!
So lads, for any that don't know, the crack anyway is Kane is going out with Georgie's sister for the last few weeks. And
Few
this is
weeks,
where all
no.
this banter is coming from.
It's not a few weeks, it's months. This
Well,
is
look, it
serious.
was kept secret for months. It's only out for the last few weeks.
You want to talk? You went
No,
mission there as well.
my problem is my mother likes Ken more than me.
Everyone likes Ken more than you.
Well, like, all right. Right.
All right, Roy, play the song.
I'm getting left home and saying that.
You're sitting in the back. Social distancing.
Yeah, Neil was watching now, right? Neil, I love you.
He doesn't. She doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Ken's amazing.
So
I actually love Ken.
hi Neil. Hello, Mrs. O'Connor.
So does Ian. And so does your
Right,
mum.
leave my mother out, no, like sisters is bad.
I'm just saying hello to you, Mom. Take it easy.
She commented on earlier. Listen to my church.
Lovely. We're
Oh,
delighted
did
with
they?
that.
Yeah.
Delighted with that.
Did they? Oh, Jesus.
So let me tell you before Dominic comes in. So Francie was talking about Finbar there, Finbar Fury, and Ken just asked me to do the Red Rose Cafe. And Finbar gave me a hell of a plug yesterday. Great to hear lovely things he said about me and the old man on Patrick Street was really nice of him. So I'd like to do this song because I had the great pleasure of playing it. The first time I ever met Finbar Fury, I was doing the Opera House, Cork Opera House with him in 2009. And about 2 or 3 weeks before that, there was a promo gig for it in the Flying Enterprise Lounge. And the same thing, I would open up for Finbar and then he'd come on and do his thing. And just as I was getting up after my stint, he caught me by the arm and he said, hey Sham, can you play the Boatman? And that was my first time getting to perform with Finbar Fury, was playing the Lonesome Boatman with him. And then he called me back to do Sweet 16 and he called me back to do the Red Rose Cafe. It's up on YouTube, you can check those out. I'm very young, but nevertheless, first I'm playing one of my heroes. And to get a shout out like that yesterday, all those years later and stuff, we've become pals over the years, but it's really nice of him. And then Dominic, who's going to come on next, tours with the Furies as well. He's the accordion player with them. And he's my rambling pal. We've played all over the world, in London and Ibiza and Vegas and Washington DC and Florida and everywhere. So I think
he looks like your security because he's 2.5 foot.
I think I preferred him with the tash though, because now he's after shaving it off. When he had the tash, we were able to call him Pat Mustard and
he looks like Dolph
Georgie
Lundgren
Borges, but but we can't do it anymore now. And I'm saying all this before he comes on screen.
Don't insult me.
No, I'm saying it now because he can't defend himself. But the Red Rose Cafe seems to fit in well there because
It's a savage song.
we can do it for Francie and Finba and also Dominic. You're cool on this, aren't you?
Yeah, it was B flat.
Yeah. Jimmy Byrne used to bring me down to trad sessions when I was about 14 or 15. He used to tell me, if you have the right key, you can play on any flat. I was going to tell you about the Dutch part of this. Yeah, but don't be laughing at me, you know I do this all the time. It was written by a Dutch guy called Pierre Cartner, Father Abraham. And when I play in Holland, oh thanks George. Thanks bud. We were just going to stop everything you came back. So when I play in Holland, they sing the Kleine. Keith's after losing it. I know when I play in Holland,
I'm just glad my life doesn't depend on you actually starting a song. Yeah.
Okay, lads, you finished? So, it started out in Holland, written by a Dutch guy, Pierre Carno, Father Abraham, and when I play in Holland, they sing the Kleine Cafe. So if any of my Dutch friends are watching, you can sing that and the rest of us will sing the Red Rose. Stop it! Well, they come from the farms and the factories too. They all soon forget who they are. The cares of the day are soon washed away as they sit at a stool by the bar. The girl with the green eyes and the rolling stone shirt doesn't look like she walks on the land. And the man at the end, he's a very good friend of a man who sells cars second hand. Sing it out, Ken. Down at the Red Rose Cafe in the harbour, there by the port just outside Amsterdam. Shares in the songs and the laughter. Everyone there is so happy to be there. Salesmen relax with a few pints of beer. We try not to speak about trade. The poet won't write only verses tonight, but he may sing a sweet serenade. So put up a chair and forget about life. It's a good thing to do now and then. And if you like it here, I have an idea. Tomorrow let's all meet again. Sing it out, boys. Down at the Red Rose Cafe in the harbour, there by the port, just outside Amsterdam. Everyone shares in the sounds and the laughter, and everyone there is so happy to be there. Once more, the down against the man, down at the Red Rose Cafe in the harbour, there by the port just outside Amsterdam. Everyone shares in the sounds and the laughter. headphones and we get Dominic
On that note, let's bring in Dominic Leach.
There we go.
Now, viewers, don't believe a word if it's negative about me. Don't believe a word from Dominic. He is a compulsive liar, and
Just for 2 seconds before we get Dominic Leach on, don't forget the Old Man in Patrick Street is available now from all your favourite downloading sources and your streaming platforms. Make sure you listen, download, and let's push it up the charts as much as we can and support a great song. The Old Man in Patrick Street from Roy Buckley is available now.
thank you very much. So, just to let you know, Dominic Leach is a bachelor. He likes long walks on the beach and playing Scrabble. His star sign is Sagittarius, and he'll mind your cats if you want to go on your holidays. Okay, will we get him in? Okay, where's Big Domo? Here he is.
Yes,
Big
come
Domo. Where's the Tash? Bring back
You
the
still
Tash.
haven't grown up.
Bring
the Tash
back
was-
the Tash.
The Tash
Dominic,
Roy was last seen
Dominic.
going across Trump's ball into Mexico.
Dominic, I must ask you a question.
Go on.
That's the joke. I must ask you a question.
Very funny,
Where's the-
right? I see
where's the
I see
Tash?
you've grown up since I saw you last, have you?
Very good, very good. What's it like walking around the place saying fee, fi, fo, fum all the time? Is it tough?
I don't do that anymore. I just do green giant.
Oh, oh, oh.
Ho ho ho. I normally lift you up. In fairness,
You
Roy,
do.
you'd probably
You always
understand
give me a
this.
lift.
You'd understand this normally, and the rest of the people listening will understand it. When we do a gig, we normally get through about 4 songs because we just let you talk about the songs for about 2 hours before each song.
Well, this should be spoken
No,
about.
but seriously, Roy, it's a great week for you. And I know you're a very humble man when it comes to it. I know we slag you and all that kind of stuff, but you're a remarkable man. For a guy that's only 4'2", you pack a fantastic voice. And just to say that it has been a remarkable week for you, and I know you've been downplaying it and that kind of thing, but it is a fantastic achievement by you. I know how hard you work, and everybody gives you the credit that you deserve this week, but you deserve it for the years that you've done over the years. The years that I've travelled with you, in fairness, were my problem, not yours. But I have to say that the places that we've gone to, I mean, we were forced to go to Ibiza for a week. That was a tough gig. Yeah, with Stephen and Vanessa, and of course with the McShanes, then with Paul and Gemma, and just I suppose I know you had Paul on the last day, but just to wish both of them well on the upcoming event in their lives. And I see Anne and John and Fiona are on tonight having a look as well, and I think an awful lot of people get on every.
Dominic.
Yeah, they all get on every week. I think you see them there, and it's great to
There's
see
at least
so
one
many
or two
people.
more
Yeah.
every week. I love them actually.
Yeah.
Do you know what? All of those guys, the Quinns are lovely, Robbie's family, and the McShanes are always in touch. Jeff Hendrick, like Georgie would know all those lads as well. Like, but
I actually like created Jimmy for like their father's my passion.
yeah, his was the first soccer player's wedding I played. George keeps reminding me of that.
Well, in fairness, George, I'd have to agree with you. In fairness, we went for a much lower profile player after your wedding. That's what Roy was saying. You were such a high profile, very hard to come down from that. So we went to Robbie Brady's, Robbie and Terry's.
If you throw things down, that's terrible.
I thought that myself, but you know what? Each for their own.
And I have to say, lads, you're giving poor old Ken an awful time there.
That's all right.
He's doing his best. He's doing his best. Like, he can't be held responsible. He can't be held responsible for his actions outside of the studio. Like,
My mother's watching this.
But download, you see all that stuff.
I realised it when he started following me on social media.
That's
What is Ken?
crawler, absolute crawler. Yeah.
I had a friend request from you first, actually. George Callan wants to be your friend.
Yeah. He's in the trenches. He's in the trenches. You're in the trenches now,
Leave him
son.
with. Leave him with.
I don't know why he would get mixed up with the O'Callaghan family.
go on, Roy. What?
I was going to say about all those friendships that I've built up with all those soccer lads and all that kind of thing. That all came through you as well. Like.
Oh, thanks.
Well,
I started.
Yeah, in fairness, I've a lot to be responsible for, Roy. In fairness, I was just looking actually on.
You should private message me later, and maybe we could talk.
He says this to all the boys.
Created.
I know
He
that.
says this to all the boys. Don't listen to
I
him.
know. I've heard it so many times. In fairness, Roy, I've heard it so many times.
But we
What I was going to say,
the
the most interesting thing about it is, Roy, I was just looking today on the 27th of February. You texted me, and you said, "What are you doing in 3 weeks' time?" And as a result of that, we went over to Tampa and I think it was Washington, was it?
We did
Playing music over the States.
Yeah, we did. We played Fairgreen Fields down in Tampa, and we went to
That's right.
Re-Raw
Up to Georgetown.
in Georgetown in DC. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, and that was
I
that was the first time.
I was never so afraid in my life. Two things actually. The first thing was he's a gangster. So I'm up in Dublin Airport, being very cute. I went up and I was all nice to the girl behind the counter checking in my guitar, and I was grand. I was grand anyway. And she said, "Oh, you can carry your guitar to the gate, Mr. Buckley," and all that. Oh, great, thank you very much. So he arrived with his big, huge accordion in a box, which looks like a bomb. And I go, well, he's not getting away with this anyway. So I stayed way back in case you went, no, yours is going in as well. He's at the counter, look, because he's about 7'3" or something. He's looking down on your one, and he's kicking up. Fuck, man, he's so bad, like. And I go, oh Jesus, I'm about to do a tour with this guy for the first time. And he's freaking out on you one. The fucking big friendly giant is gone. He's going nuts. He's going Godzilla on this. And next thing, I got up the loads of commotion, and then he comes over with his accordion. And I go, how is he after stroking this? And we're going up the elevator in Dublin Airport. I'm white as a sheet because I'm going to have to fucking be with the BFG here in a bad mood. And just when we got out of eyeshot of the check-in desk, I said, "You all right?" And he says, yeah, I always do that. A totally different guy. I said, "What did you do?" He said, "I pulled out my bank card that I know doesn't work, and I tried to pay for it." So she had to leave me on with the bonds for free. He does it all the time.
Well, you know the funniest.
He knows what card.
The funniest part about that. The funniest part about that is, right,
you're never going to get away with it again.
but they actually thought that you were my carry-on luggage. Did you know that?
I was your lunch.
We're a ventriloquist actor off to Vegas.
Yeah, they thought you were a
Hey,
ventriloquist.
right, you talk about lunch. You know one of the funniest things that ever happened when we were playing gigs? We went back to the Hilton. Remember going back to the Hilton? We bought 2 sandwiches.
Oh yeah.
And we were up in the room. Now, in fairness, I like my sandwiches, and Roy likes. Roy obviously likes.
You neglected to tell him the start about we were full of booze, and I managed to lose my sandwich between the shop and the bedroom.
No, we get to that.
5 minutes.
Hey, Roy, is this your story or mine?
Well, I'm part of it, so yeah, it is, all right. See you later, Dominic. Thanks for joining us.
The funniest part was that I was sitting there and we lost the sandwich somewhere in the room. So we started searching for it. And I was determined to find it. And Roy was determined to look like he was looking for it. And all that was going through my head was, he's not eating my sandwich. And all that was going through yours was, how am I going to get half your sandwich? How am I going to have Thomas' sandwich?
Do you know where I found it? Do you remember where I found it?
You found it in the case.
I used to think I was special.
It was in my suitcase.
Right.
I don't know why. It was in my suitcase.
Right, I used to think I was
right.
special.
What?
I used to think I was special.
You are?
Not now. Listen to this shit.
Well, the funniest one was we had Mike Hanrahan on the other night, and do you remember the story about the steaks?
Oh, the 2 steaks. Oh, Lord.
Mikey wrote that into his book. Do you know what? We're in Mikey's book about that. That story is after taking on a whole new thing. That's grand for you. You're about 7'3". There's no way I should be eating 2 steaks like it.
He's gone. Someone at the door. while he's getting the door, I'm going to quickly mention.
Oh, I know. It's Escort just arrived.
I had to turn the steaks over. The steaks are on the boil.
Gas, actually.
Go on.
about his big accordion that he left on the stage in the Rera.
He left his accordion on the stage in Rera.
He left the box on.
Who said that?
Gaelic Brew were playing and they...
Gaelic Brew found his accordion.
No, one of them fell over his accordion box because he left it on the stage in Rera last March.
I've just been told here, Dominic, can you hear that? No?
Yeah.
I've just been told that you crippled a band member in Rera because you left your accordion box behind and they tripped over it.
Yeah, well that's. But in fairness, it was a bardo player, so that's okay.
Do you remember the time we were down in last year in Lake Havasu when I couldn't get a bed? No matter what I did.
Street
Hold on,
justice.
Sham. You can never get a bed.
What's the deal there? Like, I'm on tour with him. Seriously, Arizona, and then we went back to Vegas, and every time I couldn't get a bed. And then when I did get one, they were getting smaller and smaller. Do you remember that?
Spoon?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were getting at the end. They brought in a crib for him to sleep in.
They brought a cot and no blanket. There was a blanket quota and then a fucking rock band
No blanket
statue
at all.
through the window. Do you remember that?
That's right. Yeah. And all I kept saying to you at the end, all I kept saying to you at the end of it, what was it? Will you stop talking about your bed? I feel bad enough. Why do you keep going on about your bed?
Do you remember
That was because you had no bed.
Honestly, there was about 6 or 7 nights on the trot where I had no bed. Like, it was funny at this stage that I couldn't get a single room.
Yeah,
the
the
fucking
Seven
giant there would
Dwarfs
have to get
normally
the
had
bed
that.
because, you know, he's huge. And I'd be with fucking whatever they can muster together. And he had the fucking cheek to turn around to me and say, "Stop giving all about the bed." And I was looking up at him going, "I'm going to make me come up there, I'm telling you now."
But I have to say, lads, yeah,
It's definitely
you
not
have to remember one thing.
Dominic Leach, I think it's Roy Buckley.
But you have to remember what the optics would have looked like. There was this 4'2" lad staring up at a 7-foot guy, telling him off about a bed. What do you mean you've no bed for me?
The bigger
And I'm
man.
going, do we have to do this in the middle of the casino, like?
Absolutely.
Some crack though. Some
Where
crack.
else would you do it?
Honest to God, yeah. It was so funny.
But Damo, I've had some great times on the road with you, man, and hopefully loads more. You've been on loads of sound collector sessions too, of course, and we've a lot of mutual friends who all have big love for Big Damo, you know.
But I think in fairness,
she loves you.
and of course Fiona.
And Fiona as well, yeah.
Yeah,
You've a lot of fans around the place. They all love you.
that's true. Yeah, thanks very much, Roy. I really appreciate that.
I remember you doing your Irish dancing on the stage in Lake Havasu last year in the finale, and I don't think the crowd ever witnessed anything like it. Ever. I don't think
No,
they ever
it was a privilege for them, all right. It was definitely a privilege for them.
Yeah.
I know, but in fairness, Roy, we've been very lucky over the years. We've had some great gigs, we've had some great crack, and I suppose like when we're talking about it and all the fun and that, you've always been grafting away, working on these songs, and they're fantastic songs. Like I know I do slag you every now and again about them, and why don't you put them out? And you're talking about putting them out over the years. And it's fantastic to see that you're getting the adulation that you deserve now.
Thanks,
Okay, and I know you. It doesn't sit too well on those that red-haired redhead of yours. Like to get such praise, it's very unusual, and it's definitely very unusual for me to praise you now. In fairness, right, you do know that. So,
that's
but every bit of praise.
Yeah.
But in fairness, every bit of praise that you're getting, you certainly deserve, and
But Damo,
it
you're
is fantastic.
You're all about the hard grafting and stuff there and putting yourself about or whatever. Like, the thing is, being on the road with guys who are easy to be on the road with makes that graft a hell of a lot easier. So, you know, and great times and everything, you know. It's not as hard when you've got guys in your corner like yourself. So
I will always have your back. In fairness, you're from the other republic. Like we'll always welcome you up in
except
Dublin.
for the time. Listen. We'll leave you go back to.
Oh, please stop.
We'll hang up, and leave you back in the pale after this. But
You're never allowed to be accepted up in Dublin.
I'm accepted everywhere, Grant. I'm like,
You're allowed to come down to us. You're allowed to come down to us.
I see you even have a Taoiseach down there now. I can't believe that.
Yeah, we're Taoiseach.
Yeah.
We run this country, son.
I wouldn't brag too much about it. I wouldn't brag too much about it at the minute, anyway.
I know.
But
It's
no,
far.
I just want to thank you for all the great times on the road and everything else. You're an incredible musician as well, and it's great to have you now. Except for the time that you nearly gave me a heart attack in Chicago when we were getting the connecting flight to Florida. Remember that? And
Yeah.
so we had a few hours to kill, lads, right?
The list of songs, was it?
Hank, you want to picture this now, man? So yeah, that's exactly what it is. So we're sitting there, and well, another thing I want to talk about, maybe when we get into this, is about see the Leaches. Dominic's family are a very well respected traditional Irish music family. His dad Des was the guy who kicked off all the music in Temple Bar and all that. They all his family have several All-Irelands for their instruments. Himself and his brother Stephen still tour with the Furies and stuff. Incredible people. So you would expect somebody of that level to know all the folk songs that, you know, of Ireland, because that's what their name is built on. Right. So I'm sitting in Chicago, we've about 4 hours for the connected flight, and I says, sure, Dominic, we might as well go through a set list for tonight. Bear in mind now that Derek Warfield, originally from the Wolf Tones, with the young Wolf Tones now, had thrown us the gigs, and he was coming to see us on the first night. And I'm sitting in Chicago with him, with a list of about 300 songs going, do you know that one? No. Do you know that one? No. Do you know that one? No. Going through the whole list, there's about 4 that he knew. And I'm going, oh Jesus, this is a recipe for disaster. We're gone. And I said, Donald, you have to know them. Jesus, man, you are. And he said, sing a bit of it. That one is there. Oh, yeah, I know that one. He knew the whole album. We just didn't know the names of them. I was going nearly in a fucking corner here, man, looking to chat to you.
I know. To be honest with you, Roy, I knew the names of them well. I just liked the look on your face as you were going through number 220
I thought you were in
and saying,
it took up some of your face.
it was so funny watching you though. Jeez, it was so funny because as you got to number 200, you stopped well short of 200 in fairness. But when you got to about 70, you were saying, I could see it on your face. You were turning around and saying, oh my God, what are we going to do? But you didn't say it because you weren't sure how I'd actually react if you said it out loud.
And there's also the fact that you're about 7 foot tall, and I probably left it go, like, you know.
Well, I'm not 7 foot tall. It's just that you're only 4'2", like. It's not my fault, you know.
Right, Dominic, I got to cut in here because we're getting a bit caught up and we're going way over. Okay. Thanks a million for stopping in. Thanks a million.
Well, listen, I'd just like to pay tribute to you,
Hold on.
Best of luck, bud.
Dominic,
Best of luck, okay?
One sec there, Dominic, before you go in.
Yes.
For some reason, Ken seems to think that it's his lunch.
My lunch? There's lunch?
His lunch? What do you mean his lunch?
He's out to lunch. There's more like it.
What were you going to ask me?
I did want to ask you, but before you go on, because I think
Where's Ken going after
I
this?
think it's important that the viewers realise how steeped in the traditional music you are. So I know how close you were with your dad, and he passed away recently.
Well, I suppose, in fairness, on a serious note, right,
I do want to talk about that. All messing aside.
When Temple Bar started off, first it would have started off in probably, I think Charlie Haughey started it really in 1991, and Stephen and my father and the likes of Mick McNamara, Tommy Bourne, Paul and David McNevin, who would have been with Stockton Swing at various stages with Mike, and my father and Noreen, they started it all off in Temple Bar. One of the first places that there was music was in Gogarty's. Now, Temple Bar at that time, it was not what Temple Bar is now. It was meant to be a cultural haven for musicians and songs and all that kind of stuff. But it ended up moving a little bit away from that. But for the last 25 years, my family have played in there. My brother would have looked after the gigs in about 6 or 7 of the different venues in there, the likes of Gogarty's and all the bands, all the places like that, Brussels and some of the pubs around there, and getting in musicians on a constant basis. It was a tough job now, in fairness. My father then, of course, passed away 2 years ago, and Lord rest him, he was working up to a year before he passed away, and he was the oldest. I would say that he used to call himself the Godfather, and the people in there used to call him the Godfather of Temple Bar.
I
he
only
deserved
met
it
him a couple of
because
times, Dominic, and he was
he was a
gentleman.
legend. He was a
He
legend.
gentleman.
And I know Noreen and Paul are actually in. Paul plays the pipes, Noreen plays the fiddle, Stephen obviously the banjo. And we would have got it all from our father, as most people do in Ireland. It's passed down through the generation. And I'd have to say that father was Des. He was playing, and he was 80 years of age when he stopped playing, and that's remarkable. And it was just fantastic that Martin Keane, who owned the Gogartys, actually redesigned the upstairs so Dad could play. Now he only got to play it once, unfortunately, before he passed away. But it was a tribute to the man that the pub went to such lengths to try and make an area for him. And sadly, as I say, he passed away. But he said he's left a massive legacy. And Temple Bar wouldn't be. I wouldn't say it wouldn't be the way it is now, but certainly the music over the years. Every musician. I see David Rooney is 50 today. Believe it or not, it's his birthday. Happy birthday to him! But all the musicians in Dublin and from around the country all started off in Temple Bar. It's remarkable, like over the 25 years. And just I suppose to pay tribute to that. And I know you're under pressure there time wise, and I do appreciate you giving the shout out to my father, because it means a lot to me and the family. And it's great to see Hank Weedell there. It's great to see you, Hank.
How you doing, Doc?
Haven't seen you in a while, bud.
Well,
you mind yourself and enjoy the rest of the night, okay?
Look forward to jamming. Looking forward to having a big.
Take care. Mind yourself. Thanks very much.
Take care, man.
Take care, buddy. Nice to see you, Damo. Bye.
And
All
right, well, thanks to Dominic again. Once again, we'll remind you of the single "An Old Man in Patrick Street" is available now to download on all streaming platforms and iTunes to download as well. Let's push it up the charts. Right, let's get back to Bernard. Let's get a quick request.
Just before you do that, Dominic's dad was a very talented man, obviously with instruments and able to play. But I remember Dominic telling me a great story. His dad was a tailor as well. Dominic arrived home to his mum and dad's house one night. There was Julia Roberts in the thing getting kitted out, because his dad did the costumes for Michael Collins. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. That man was very, very talented.
Cool.
Anyway, sorry, Bernard.
This song, very conscious that it's very, very late.
Yeah, we should nearly start wrapping this up, lads.
We need to wrap it up. Look, a couple of songs there, maybe for a finish, maybe we could play them one after the other. There's 2 requests for We Had It All. Okay.
I did that the other night on the part 1.
As I said, there's 2 requests for Dodsley. We're going to finish up the Old Man and Pasture. Also, a lot of requests. It's your mum's birthday on Tuesday.
That's right.
Your sister said, will you play the lag song for your mum, or pick a song of your own? But there was lots of your family kicked in.
Yeah,
let's play a song for your mum.
Well, my mother has been a huge influence, all my mum's side. And any of the viewers who have been following me for the last while will realise that my mum knows a million songs. Has my mum been in? Has she asked for a song herself?
She's here all night. No, she's very quiet tonight.
Okay. She's probably conscious
of it. Any load on and on and on. But the rest of the family all kicked in wishing your mum a real happy birthday for Tuesday. So
yeah, happy birthday, man, for Tuesday.
Happy birthday to Geraldine Buckley.
Yeah, absolutely. She might write in a song there for you, and we'd see if there's
She might while you're singing
something else.
Another one.
Okay.
There was one for the parent last year.
Do you know there was a song that you know what? I'll give my mother a chance to write in a song there for her birthday. She bought me my first guitar and paid for my guitar lessons, and my sister Joanne used to drop me down to them and stuff. My family have always been in my corner.
It must be hard to have somebody like you.
It's not just the end of the sentence.
That's the end of the sentence.
Yeah, that was it. Like.
I'll show you how hard it is to be around someone like me when this camera's off and I'm yeah.
Go on, son.
There was a song that myself and Hank used to do called 7 Spanish Angels.
Oh,
we used to do that back in the day. About a gunfight, a love song. I think we'll start wrapping it up. Maybe I'll do this. If the song comes in there, we'll do that. And we finish on Patrick Street. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Ian.
Whatever key you want to do. What?
I think we used to do it in A. I think we used to do it in A. Let's do it. Come up one. We do it in G sharp. Would that be alright with you?
Oh, I don't mind that.
Yeah. Ray Charles and Willie Nelson did.
I love Willie Nelson.
The legend, yeah. So I have a plectrum in my wallet
Brilliant.
from Willie Nelson.
I saw it.
I swear to God, no lads, if you keep an eye on me, the whole lot of you.
You know, it's like, you stand over, you know, you watch that play rugby and they stand over the fucking ball all day, you're like, just kick the fucking goal. It's like, it's 10 yards.
Hello. He looked down into her brown eyes, said, say a prayer for me. She threw her arms around her, whispered, God will keep us free. They're gonna hear the riders coming. He said, this is my last fight. If they take me back to Texas, they won't take me back alive. There were 7 Spanish angels at the altar of the sun. They were praying for the lovers in the valley of the gun. When the battle stopped and the smoke cleared, there was thunder from the throne. And 7 Spanish angels took another angel home.
He reached down and picked the gun up, then they smoke it in his hand. She said, Father, please forgive me, I can't make it without my man. Though she knew that the gun was empty, and she knew she couldn't win. Well, her final prayer was answered when the rifles fired again.
There were 7 Spanish angels at the altar of the sun. They were praying for the lovers in the valley of the gun. When the battle stopped and the smoke cleared, there was thunder from the throne. And 7 Spanish angels took another angel home. There were 7 Spanish angels at the altar of the sun. They were praying for the lovers
In the valley of the gun.
when the battle stopped and the smoke cleared. There was thunder from the throne. And 7 Spanish angels took another angel home. And 7 Spanish angels took another angel Lovely.
Okay, so your man has texted in, right?
Great, what's she looking for?
Right, you know what she said? I'm going to leave it up to you.
Ah, fuck's sake,
So,
man.
I know that
I
one.
don't
I know that one.
I hate decisions.
Considering your sister did say the lag song, and I know your mum has requested this from you.
What
before.
sister's got to do with this?
The mom, it's his sister.
Okay,
So maybe the lag song.
The lag song is,
for a finish.
a lag is someone who spends 5 years or more in prison. That right, Ken?
Yeah.
So,
What is getting in there?
he's with Georgie's sister, he's in prison now.
Oh, that is absolutely horrendous.
So, it was written by Ewan McCall, the great songwriter. His real name was James
Yeah, he does
Miller.
have a point, Ken.
So, he wrote songs like Dirty Old Town, Sweet Thames Flow Softly, The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face, Go Move Shift, School Day Is Over, and loads more. But this one I learned from Paddy Riley, and I heard Luke Kenny do it as well. Written from the point of view of a lag. So your man's in prison. Sometimes I wonder what happened to time when it passed. Then one day I found out time just lands in prison, and there it is, held fast. The prison is sleeping, the night watch is keeping its watch over 700 men, and behind every cell door the sleeping lag is dreaming, oh, to be free again. Look out of the window, over the roofs there, over the wall, see the sky. Just one flying leaf, and you could make your getaway, if only you could fly. When I was a young man, I used to go courting. I dreamed of the moon and the stars. The moon is still shining, the dreams they are all broken on these hard island bars. Oh, write me a letter addressed to my number, would say you remember my name. So I'll be reminded of how the world outside goes, and feel like a man again. Got time on my hands, got time on my shoulders, plenty of time on my mind. There's no summer nor winter, when just
getting to number 2, brilliant, dream come true. So yeah, we'll plow on. I have a couple more things in the pipeline. I'll be back next Wednesday, back doing all the requests and everything. It's just important to me. I do want to make everyone know that I'm so happy with the outpouring that has come in of love and encouragement and support and everything. It means a lot. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone. We'll give it a go.
Let's do it.
Okay, we'll say goodnight with this. Thank you, guys.
Well, it's been amazing. You've been amazing.
He's there in the sun, he's there in the rain. All the lines on his face, showing his pain. Nothing to live for and nothing to gain. Every day in his life is all just the same. For the old man in Patrick Street, he's walking the streets day and night. His hands all wrinkled and his hair is snow white. A champion fighter one time in his life. Nobody cares about old boxing fights. He's the old man on Wall Street. And darkness falls, no one hears him call. But the moon and the stars of the night. Tonight he sleeps alone. How can we do this to our own? Sweet Jesus, won't you look down tonight? He had a rough life from the start, when his wife left him and tore him apart. But he found a new lover, keeps him warm in the dark. She's Nancy Whiskey, he keeps her close to his heart. He's the old man on Patrick Street. I saw him last weekend, man, he got old, worn out clothes and his story untold. Asleep on a bench out in the cold. Nancy beside him, the woman in gold. He's the old man on Patrick Street. And darkness falls, no one hears him call. With the moon and the stars of the night. Tonight he sleeps alone. How can we do this to our own? Sweet Jesus, won't you hear him tonight? I passed by today by that old man's bed. An empty whiskey bottle lay there instead. Someone left flowers and a note that read, a short message remembering the dead. For the old man on Patrick Street. For the old man on Patrick Street. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks to the backline crew here. Thanks to Keith and Aidan and Sean, Georgie and Hank and Ken and Christian David and all the guests the other night as well. Everybody, thank you so much.
Good night, stay home if you're not home.
Nothing to live for and nothing to gain. Every day in his life is all just the same. For the old man on Patrick Street, he's walking the streets day and night. His hands all wrinkled and his hair is snow white. A champion fighter one time in his life, but nobody cares about old boxing fights. He's the old man on Patrick Street, and darkness falls. No one hears him call, but the moon and the stars of the night. Tonight he sleeps alone. How can we do this to our own? Sweet Jesus, won't you look down tonight? He had a rough life from the start. When his wife left him torn apart, but he found a new lover, keeps him warm in the dark. She's Nancy Whiskey, he keeps her close to his heart. He's the old man on Patrick Street. I saw him last weekend, man, he got old, worn out clothes, his story untold. Asleep on a bench out in the cold. Nancy beside him, the woman in gold. He's the old man on Patrick Street. And darkness falls. No one hears him call, but the moon and the stars of the night. Tonight he sleeps alone. How can we do this to our own? Sweet Jesus, won't you hear him tonight? Passed by today by that old man's bed. An empty whiskey bottle lay there instead. Someone left flowers and a note that read a short message remembering the dead. For the old man on Patrick Street. For the old man on Patrick Street. There in the rain, all the lines on his face showing his pain. Nothing to live for and nothing to gain. Every day in his life is all just the same. For the old man on Patrick Street, he's walking the streets day and night. His hands all wrinkled and his hair is snow white. A champion fighter one time in his life, but nobody cares about old boxing fights. He's the old man on Patrick Street, and darkness falls. No one hears him call, but the moon and the stars of the night. Tonight he sleeps alone. How can we do this to our own? Sweet Jesus. when his wife left him or tore him apart. But he found a new lover, keeps him warm in the dark. She's Nancy Whiskey, he keeps her close to his heart. He's the old man on Patrick Street. I saw him last weekend, man, he got old, worn out clothes, his story untold. Asleep on a bench out in the cold, Nancy beside him, the woman in gold. He's the old